Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I'm your host, Tony G, and I'm doing that early morning. Yeah, doing a very early morning, I guess you can say live stream for those that are up. Things just got back from work and stuff. So I said, you know what, I'm not tired, even though I scheduled this out already. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead on and get with it. So look like we are going live and early in the morning. So therefore, before we get started here, I'm just going to wait a little bit. I'm just going to kick back and wait for other people to come into the live stream. So while you guys do that, yeah, that'd be cool. Hope everybody having a wonderful morning. I know some of you guys is probably still sleeping, you know, but yeah, it's all good. Yep, it's all good, you know. But yeah, you know, just just waiting for some people to come into the live. Look like we have one person so far. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, so we just waiting for some other people to, you know, show up in the live stream before we get started. This one is going to be a little different here. We're going to be talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, boy. And once again, I love talking about these deep money backers, you know, these people that are, you know, that fund, you know, these particular organizations and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing, basically talking about it. So other than that, just kind of waiting on some other people to come up on the live stream. If not, then I may have to do it early in the morning. But I felt that this is important conversation for those that do not or may not be aware of who these unelected officials are. And unfortunately, they have been running our electoral voting process and things. When we say unelected officials, there we go. Unelected officials, you know, so this is going to be the big thing here. I have Anton Daniels up here. And then also have the sheriff. In fact, this is what the sheriff had to say. In fact, let's go ahead and play it.
Everyone, Sheriff Grady Judd here. I've been asked by media outlets and several people to comment on the event that occurred in Minneapolis yesterday. Let me make one thing abundantly clear. You have to be accountable for your conduct. And that starts with the mayor. Did you hear his filthy talk? Did you hear his filthy, uninformed talk yesterday to the people not only of the city and the state, but across the nation? Shame on you. That's lack of professionalism. Now let's look at the event. The investigation's not complete. I am giving you context on the video clip that I saw.
Hold on for one moment, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on for one moment. Sheriff Grady, let me see here. Hold on for a minute. All right, let me see here. I think that is Judd. Okay, here it is right here. All right, this is the one.
This is your Florida Minute. The conversation from the Minneapolis shooting continues this morning, this time in Polk County, where Sheriff Grady Judd is weighing in after an ICE agent shot and killed a driver during a confrontation in Minneapolis. Judd criticizing the city's mayor for commenting before the investigation is complete. Judd says video shows the driver using her vehicle as a deadly weapon, calling the shooting justified self-defense, while Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey labeled ICE's actions as reckless and chaotic.
So what did the occupant expect? They should have expected to be shot when you commit a deadly assault on a law enforcement officer. Cooperate with law enforcement officers. Don't resist them. Don't violently resist them. If you do violently resist them, if you do felonious assaults with 2-ton weapons, expect to be shot.
The death of Renee Good has sparked national backlash with sharply divided reactions from elected officials on whether that shooting was lawful. This is your Florida.
So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we heard it from an actual sheriff, Sheriff Grady Judd and things. So therefore, just kind of, he actually just weighing in on his, making this comment and stuff like that because, once again, we can't be, they can't just go out here and do what they've been doing and things like that. So, as he said, the vehicle, we're talking about over 2 tons here, and it can be used as a weapon. So right now the Dems are losing that narrative and stuff, and more information is coming out about her, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with, because I know I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier on my other live, but there's other people that go in a lot more detail in regards to the woman and things like that. So, but other than that, Renee Good. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this topic here tonight, this is going to be something else. We're going to go ahead and, cover it and things like that. So we're talking about the unelected officials, control the Dems and the Rinos and things like that. Just waiting for some other people to come into the live and things. And I'm doing this thing early in the morning, but it's all good. It's all good. So as we about to get ready to end the weekend, we're already here for Sunday and things like that. So ladies and gentlemen, this is it is what it is, though. A lot going on in the over there in Minneapolis. I do believe that because again, we all know that on the Dems are using this thing with Renee Good. They're using this as a political stunt to deflect from the fraud that is going on over there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and things like that. So as they're trying to rally up the troops and trying to protest, trying to turn this to another George Floyd type of situation. So they love controversy from the liberal Dems. They love it. They love the controversy and anything they can sink their teeth in to basically get the people, let's say, rally. A lot of these people, too, are paid protesters. Let's go ahead and keep it 100. Because, we talk about organizations like the Open Society, which is under George Soros. And you guys see the faces up there that's on the thumbnail and things. So the other guy that some of you guys may not be familiar with, that's Eric Kessler. You already know who George Soros is, and you already know who Bill Gates is. And there's others that are involved, though. Some of them are in other countries as well. They've been part of our election and so forth, So these are the go-to people that control, right? They control the Dems. They control our rhinos. Look how many rhinos that's voted against, under what is the new healthcare thing? Well, actually, they voted for the Obamacare. Again, you guys heard about that, right? These are the stinking rhinos, right? Once again, that were involved with this thing, though. The stinking rhinos.
Oh, hell no!
Yeah. The stinking rhinos, ladies and gentlemen, which mean Republicans in name only, right? These are the stinking rhinos that are no good, right? They're just there. They're nothing but liberals. They work in unison with, they're lockstep with the Democrats, right? Or the Demo KKK rats, but they're lockstep with each other. And they have an agenda because, when they pushed that Obamacare the first time, they're in league with these, the super PACs, donors, right? They're in a league with each other, and they get all the kickbacks from this old criminal, scammy Obamacare type stuff, though. So, Affordable Care Act, they just changed the name, but business as usual. Because this is a thing here, ladies and gentlemen. It's designed to do what? It's designed for them to get paid and then squeeze us on the premiums and so forth. Most people can't afford Obamacare, and you were penalized $400 on your taxes every time you do not comply. So once again, these people, as I always stated before, these people do not like the Constitution. They hate the Constitution. They hate the fact that Americans can have choices and stuff like that. Trump's care was far superior over Obamacare. You know, Obamacare was so bad that they even had to change the name, which is something else. But we're going to get into it. I'm just kind of waiting for some other people before we start getting into this this particular topic. I'm just kind of waiting. If I don't get enough people tonight, then I'm just going to go ahead on and just do it probably later on in the daytime, though. We can talk about some other things before we start going into the main topic. For those that are coming in, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat early in the morning. Just got off from work. I said, you know what? I can go ahead and squeeze out one, whatever, But yeah. So this is something here for some people that do not know who these people are. Yeah, these people are wicked. I'm just here to tell you, man. And then there's many others too. These are not just the only players. Can you imagine if these were the only players like George Soros and Bill Gates and Eric Kessler? Man, there's so many other people involved in this thing, man. You guys have some of you guys may already know. Others may not even know how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is a deep, deep rabbit hole. Let's keep it 100. Deep rabbit hole. You have no idea. And unfortunately, they have their mindless, what is it? Their foot soldiers out there. These are the people that are backing Antifa. These are the people that's pushing for a lot of things. Defund the police. Same thing. Same old people, once again. Defund the police. BLM. These are the same money. I'm talking about dark money. These are the unofficials, right? These unelected officials. These are the ones that control our politicians, right? This is exactly what it is, though. So, if you're a liberal, and you're welcome to the channel, but you're being played. You're being played because if you think for a New York minute that your elected officials that you select, especially on the left side, you think they give it, and so forth, you're mistakenly wrong, though, because as I mentioned before, and we're going to get into it, if my views ain't up to date, which I don't expect anyway, then I just do it for some other time. Cancel the live, shut it down, and then do it later on, So, yeah, that's cool. But this truth is going to get out and things. So, the truth is going to get out, So, but most of the people that are here right now, once again, welcome to the chat. You know what the title is. Unelected officials control the Dems as well as the Rinos. If you don't know what a Rhino is, we're talking about Republicans in name only. These are both. And unfortunately, on the right, these people do not rock with the people. These are enemies of the people from both sides. The Demo KKK rats and the low-down ass Rhinos. They're still the same and locked up with each other and so forth. So, as I mentioned earlier, I hope everybody is having a great time today. So much going on in the news on things like that. The capture of Nicholas Maduro, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So there's a lot of things that's going on there. Yeah, a lot of things that are going on there, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm just over here right now trying to make sense of the chaotic world and things like that. But, only 4 viewers right now. Well, what do you expect early in the morning? Oh, man. Early in the morning. What do you expect? Now I'm down to 2. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to just go ahead and do this later, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, just like maybe too early for some of the people. I said maybe I was going to try to squeeze it in. And I thank you guys, the ones that rock with me. I thank you guys for coming on and things like that. Yeah, I really wanted to get into this a little bit more so, but yeah. So, but I'm going to cover this topic and things like that. I am going to cover this topic, but for sure. But one thing I'm gonna post up here, so therefore you guys actually know. There, did it come up? Nope, it did not come up. Okay, that's all right. Okay, all right, did not come up. That's interesting. All right, well, let's go with. I'm just gonna do a little bit with George Soros, and if people don't come into the room, then we'll just go from there. This is a person that is an immigrant of Hungary. He's supposed to have survived the Holocaust, the concentration camps and all this other kind of stuff. But fast forward with George Soros, this is the guy here. It's one of the think tanks that control, as I mentioned earlier, most of your politicians, especially on the left. So, when you think about it, I'm talking about the Democrats right now. And he controls them, right? The Democrats, one of these big money backers, he's a multi-billionaire. And this is the one that's the open society activist, right? When we talk about corrupt district attorneys, guess who they listen to? They listen to George Soros, right? We talk about the universities, the colleges, the whole educational system. This is by this guy here. It's by Soros, man. This is the guy here. He's been a major player. He's been meddling in our electoral. I'm talking about our elector. I'm trying to say the word here, man. It's early in the morning. So people he's actually big time involved in that. So electric, for people that they get voted in, he's the one, and he can manipulate it. So unelected officials, he is an unelected official that runs the whole thing. We talking about Antifa rioters, right? This is the people that we're dealing with right now. Because keep in mind, Antifa and these other protesters, they're getting paid, ladies and gentlemen. You don't drive across state lines and so forth to go take up a cause unless somebody said, hey, I heard that they're getting paid as much as $1,000. It don't make any sense for some immigrant that they don't know. Let's just keep it 100, right? They already done busted them before when they actually interviewing them. What do you do for work? Pretty much, this is their job. So as I mentioned before, BLM, what is it? We're talking about the election fraud, because Soros is behind the election fraud as well. Yeah, so with the election fraud, the American Democrats, right? This is his baby right here. This guy controls all of the Democrats. So they don't, in other words, the Democrats don't tell Soros what to do. He tells them what to do, right? You know what I'm saying? This is a fact. What about the World Economic Forum? He's very much a part of that as well, too. As well as the WHO, right? The CDC, the voting machines, right? Also Ukraine, right? You talking about porn in the world? This is coming from this guy right here again. Ukraine, Justin Trudeau, the EU, and we got the CT. You guys know what that is. You got the color revolution and entertainment industry. His tentacles are intertwined in all these fronts. And the people on the left are being played like suckers. The reason why I put Rinos in here, because the Rinos are nothing more than liberals anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing about it. Yeah, the Rinos are just more, Yeah. But this is basically what it is. Let me see here. David says, fuck off, war criminal. Well, if you're talking about Soros, he's considered to be a war criminal, all right. And people in Europe know about this dude, just like in America we know about this dude, but not really a whole lot. Not by really breaking down this guy, for real, for real. He got his son, Alex, that's going to take over. I don't think he's as smart as his daddy, though, that's for sure. You know, so this is one of the masterminds. There's others. He's not acting alone. He's not by himself. There's a lot others that are out there, you know, but, you know, it's a lot others out there, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real. Yep, just keeping it real. Yeah, but, yep, so that's basically what it is there, though. Let me see here. Let's go here further down, guys. So, yeah, so I'm like many of them. It's man, it's so many of them. But they're all in concert with each other, trying to destroy America. They want to take America down, or make it, take America down and things. These are the ones that's been behind our so-called educational system. They're the ones that came up with this whole woke agenda and a lot of other stuff, you know. People on the left are just being played, just like a harp, like a piano, being played. And most of these fake rioters don't care anyway, man, because truth to be said, you know, they're getting paid. You know, they're being paid to riot like this. This is not a protest. This is a paid riot. Exactly what it is. You know, so, and Trump is coming after this guy. It's already being investigated already. And they're going, and all they're doing is just following the money, because they already have this information on these guys, right? Him, Bill Gates, Eric Kessler, you know, they're just following the money, because the money is being funded into these organizations like the Color Revolution. You guys look into that. Just following the money, though. All this that I mentioned, they're being followed. The money is going into this. The American Democrats, they already on this guy, been on this guy, BLM. You know, and they raised a substantial amount of money with BLM, right? We're talking about these other organizations out there. What is it? No Kings, Summer of Love, all this type of stuff, man. It's all orchestrated. It's all being played. You know, just that's all it is, though. This is all this. The open society activists. That's his baby right there. You know, you guys can pull up these organizations and things, but the reason that we know who this guy is, because when they did an investigation research, they were able to track the money, and he's linked to this. You know, he's linked, and this is what's showing up. This is what's coming up. Just keeping it 100, right? So, yeah, but it's very interesting how the so-called society and where it's been going. But, you know, people don't care. The ones that are brainwashed and gone, you know, because, you know, you still have a lot of Trump derangement syndrome. They don't care about any of the stuff that I'm saying, because they're looking at, some of these people are so brainwashed is that they're looking at Trump as being the problem. You know, when the problem is not Trump. The problem is the money backers that are backing, right, these organizations, as I mentioned, like Open Society, right, and the corrupt district attorneys, the colleges, the universities, right, BLM, right? All these organizations. A lot of them are coming from George Soros. The ones that control the politicians and stuff, they tell them what to do, right? It ain't the other way around. You know, they made these guys. Who made Obama, right? These people I'm talking about. Who told Hillary and Clinton Bill what to do? Same old people. Same old people. They don't wield no power whatsoever. They're being told what to do, right? And when you're told what to do, big money donors and super PACs and all the rest of this type of stuff, this is where this is coming from. And you got to be able to think outside of the box to be able to say, okay, there's someone that's bigger. There's someone much larger outside of the scope that's manipulating our elections, manipulating our politicians, manipulating our corrupt district attorneys and stuff like that. EU is a bunch of same thing. They control the EU. You think that the EU, that's a scam, right? Paris Climate Act is a scam, right? The WHO is the World Health Organization, for those that don't know. That's a scam, right? And then we already know what the CT, we know what that means for trafficking, CT. I'm not going to say the other word, but you guys know what that is. They've been behind the whole thing, man. They've been behind this type of stuff. As I mentioned before, don't think that these organizations are not intertwined with each other. They are. And then the source money backer, just follow the money. And this is what's going to tell you the truth about these phony organizations. You know, they're taking root to divide the people and to destroy the people, right? This is what this is about. This has nothing to do with loving America, right? These are anti-Constitution, anti-American, phony protests. They pay them to go out there, you know, because don't you find it strange that liberal whites that put their neck on the line and go out here to do this type of stuff, unless if they were getting paid, and most of them are getting paid for this, right? They can go to Portland or go to Minneapolis, man, and do what they're doing, right? They're being instructed, trained to be disruptive, you know? And I believe this is the strategy, because this really, to be honest with you, this is the only thing that the Dems have left, is to be able to create riots and stuff and mass shootings and so forth. They're being instructed to do this. This is not a protest. This is an insurgency, and we're seeing it at the first levels of it. And it's going to get a little worse as we start going towards the midterms, because they understand, though, this is an all or nothing. They know their top officials on the brink of going to prison. That's why this is giving great pushback. See, MAGA already know what's going on. This is not an education for MAGA. This is for people that may be in the middle, you know. And the reason that you're in the middle, because you see the violence that's coming from the left wing. Extreme violence, right? This is what's going on. They send their bots and they send their disruptors to seek out these channels. And it's not working because more of them are popping up now. And these are regular people talking about it because it just doesn't make no sense logically. You know, you can lose your life resisting. These are law enforcement. And I shouldn't even have to keep going over that. You heard what the sheriff, Grady Judd had to say, you know. I mean, with common sense and logic would dictate that you don't get out here and put your life at risk, you know. Because like I said, it's not really gaining a whole lot of traction. The George Floyd thing was a little bit different. But by her, it's not really gaining a lot of traction, you know. So as we speak, it's just they're trying to politicize it. Tim Walz was about to announce his retirement, but when they look at these controversial things, they try to run on it, and that's what he's doing right now. He's on the brink of going to prison too, and things. Just a matter of time, because it's just too much corruption over there in too much corruption, ladies and gentlemen. It's just too much corruption over there in Minneapolis with these Somali people as well. Yep, exactly what it is. These people don't give a damn about you. Yep, Somalis don't give a damn. Most Africans, most foreigners, they don't give a damn about American people. We already know that. It goes without saying. They don't give a damn about you or me. You know, they really don't. Look at the fraud and stuff that's steady being discovered, and they're gonna use this on the Dems. They're gonna use this to push. They're gonna pull away from the corruption and use this. Oh, this is just it is a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? For Renee, you know, for her that got her behind geeked up, because they were saying too that she was unemployed. She really didn't have a job with 3 kids. But if somebody is talking about paying you, I think they said that she was paid $1,000. And this is my opinion. I think that's not my opinion. This is what I heard, but it's not really confirmed. But she was getting paid. For her to go and cross state lines from, was it Missouri, to go over there to Minneapolis, got to be getting paid. You just don't take up a cause like that for somebody that you don't know unless you're getting paid for it. And that's exactly what it is. Most of these paid protesters, they always have been paid protesters to be able to go and do what they're doing, right? So there it is. If you bust it, you already hate the system. Makes sense to go ahead and join up forces and go out here and do what they do. You know, they were trained to do this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming in so far. And I've been talking about Soros, you know, George Soros. I'm talking about a few others, though, as well, because I covered some of this stuff before, you know, with the Open Society and so forth. These are the ones that claiming to be for social justice change, right? Your people, the engineers behind the whole woke thing, you know. These are the engineers, right? The color revolutions. Thank you for the like too. I appreciate it. This guy here is something else, man. You know, and I'm not educating you guys on it, man. A lot of you guys know this. This is information. This is public information, public knowledge. This is not my information. This is stuff that's already been talked about. But about him and the voting machines, ladies and gentlemen. The voting machines, they were rigged because he can pay somebody from another country. And our election had been hijacked a long time ago. The Dems have set themselves up for a minority group party and made themselves the majority for over, it's been a long time that Republicans have been a president. You know, it don't matter anyway, because like I said before, George Bush Jr. and Sr., right, or Senior and Junior, both are rhinos. A lot of your rhinos as well, too. They are nothing but liberals. Rhinos, Republican in name only. We talk about them, too. They don't want change. They want war. These war hawks, right? That's what they look for, because they know war is money. The military-industrial complex, they get paid on this type of stuff. So no matter how you vote, at least outside of Trump, no matter how you vote, you're going to get it one way or the other. It is what it is. This is exactly what's going on. And these paid so-called activists, you know, they don't really realize, though. I mean, what's it, more 100? Was it 1,000 more ICE agents that are going over there to Minneapolis? And it's going to be more than that. Because if they do the insurgency, guess who's holding all the cards? It's Trump and the leverage. Because if Trump were to use the Insurgency Act, you know, it's going to be game over. Then, because he's already been approved by the Supreme Courts to be able to send in the military. he can send in the military, and it's going to be game over for them because they don't really have much to go on. That's what I'm saying, though, and it's just amazing how they're doing this stuff. The stuff, and we knew this was going to happen. This is the playbook coming from the left. And when I say Rinos, we're talking about both of them. They all left. They did the same group of people. There's no separation. I just put it in the headlines. Rinos and Dems are the same people. Make no mistakes about it. And they're using this type of stuff to gain traction. Because we know some things are going to go down around the midterms. Trump and the Patriots are already on it. They're already on it, ladies and gentlemen. So when it does go down, and Trump used the Insurgency Act, boy, I'm going to tell you right now, though, there's no way in the world that Antifa, their foot soldiers, MS-13, Trinde Alagra, and all the rest of their mindless foot soldiers that are out here getting paid for, I guess you could say it's a dead end cause, because they're not holding the leverage. They're not holding the leverage. The Patriots are. And this is what people like Soros and them can't stand. He's been meddling in our affairs for a long time. And it's time that the Patriots and Trump shut these organizations down, because they don't mean us no good. They mean us harm. They want to bring America to its knees. And they'll do it by any means necessary. And right now, people are so easily to be controlled right now off of their emotions. And this is how you control people. And this thing with this Renee Good woman is no different. They did it with Floyd, George Floyd as well. They do it with a lot of people. They did it with Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor. They have done it. You know, they have done it. Because they use race. They race bait, right? To get the people excited, to get them to riot, to get them to destroy their communities. You know, Detroit, we had riots too, 67 riot, where they have destroyed community, right? They do this on purpose, and they wonder why, they actually burned out their community, burned out businesses that had nothing to do with it politically. All emotions. This is purposely done. Look at all your 13 major cities across the United States. They all had riots. They all had riots. L.A. Watts, what's his name? You already know, Rodney King. This is all purposely have been orchestrated. It's controlled, orchestrated, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of you guys know this. I'm just really preaching in the choir, though, you know. But a lot of you guys really know this type of stuff. And I appreciate you guys once again coming into the live chat and stuff like that. But yeah, this is exactly what's been going on. You know, exactly. I said I wanted to touch on this because I already see what's going on right now. This is the type of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that need to be talked about, right? We need to be talking about this, and we need more and more and more. Here it is right there. I'm going to pull him up. Y'all see that picture right there? There we go. Got it to work. That's it right there. Look at, I want you guys to pay it very, very close attention. Look at this guy right here. He ain't the only one, as I mentioned before. His tentacles are in everything. Look at that. You guys can read it for yourself. If you can read the print, or maybe not, but this right here, ladies and gentlemen, look at these organizations. These people, these politicians do his bidding. That's why I dub him as Darth Hideous. Not Sidious, but Darth Hideous, you know. This guy right here. And he's not the only one. He's not the only one. I just want you guys to really see what's going on. This is exactly what it is. These are the architects, right? These are why these people are manipulating to go out here and do what they're doing. This is a guy that celebrates victimhood. It's like, if you guys know the Star Wars, you have the dark side and the light side. The dark side of the Force, right? And I know this is a movie, but it has a lot to do with what's going on right now, because fear, as fear leads to anger. Anger leads to what? Confusion, doubt, hatred, right? Where you do not have logic to be in your, have your common sense, or just have reasoning skills. What makes us not go out here and do these violent things? It's not fear, because when you know the truth, we don't fear nothing. But this is what they do with the low IQ people, the ones that, in other words, they like causes where they can get paid. And whether they're getting paid or not, they just like these victimhood type stuff, because it makes them feel powerful, which in actuality, it makes them look weak. And they are weak. And they all been manipulated by Darth Hideous. This dude right here. Your puny skills are no match for the power of the dark side of the Force. Use your hatred, and down the path of the dark side you would go. And this is basically what this guy is to me. If y'all watch that movie, Star Wars, Phantom Menace, and all the rest of them, right? This is who this dude is. And many people like him, they were being manipulated, man. He wear the dark cloak and everything like that. This dude right here, right? You got Bill Gates, Eric Kessler. They all share the same agenda. They're all in lockstep with each other. You don't know the power of the dark side. I use these mindless drones. You think the Clintons don't tell me what to do? I tell them what to do. I created Obama. I tell Obama to bow before me. And that's exactly what he is. This is what real power looks like. Hey, how you doing over here? And got another person came into the live chat. I appreciate you. Yep, the truth. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm definitely trying, but I appreciate you coming in. He's a Sith Lord. Yeah, I love doing the Sith. Star Wars is one of my favorites, y'all. And I said I was going to try to make it a little bit more entertaining, for you guys early this morning. But yeah, he's the Sith Lord, man. This guy is a Sith, They don't have no way of knowing the truth, Yeah, this guy here. Yeah, but yeah, Darth Hideous. Yeah, that's what he is, All crusty and everything. Shoot, this guy got more money than he can ever think about. He would want to go out here and destroy lives. I mean, because they get caught up in this paper god stuff. If you guys look at people like Soros, Eric Kessler, Bill Gates, and others, this is what this is, man. This is nothing but a Star Wars movie playing out in real life. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting somewhere in, the Death Star somewhere, Oh, man, this is, it's funny, though, but it's sad at the same time. It's sad, though, ladies and gentlemen, but this is exactly what it is. Yep, I appreciate the likes, though, too. Yeah, Darth Hideous, If you only knew the power of the dark side of the Force, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, man. Boy, I tell y'all, man, it's something else, man. The power of the dark side, right? Darth Hideous. A full Sith, Yep. I appreciate the likes though too. Thank y'all guys. I appreciate it. I'm just having a little fun with it at the same time. I said I'm gonna start doing that too. That way it don't get too boring. And I appreciate you guys coming in though too. But yeah, this is exactly what it is. This is what we up against, man. We up against a full-fledged Sith. Now we can't take the Sith by ourselves, you know. Because, I mean, the Jedi Council tried to do it and see what happened, you know. Mace Windu got his arm cut off, you know, with that, you know, because, you know, Darth Sidious got that shocker, too, you know. You know, it's a shocking experience, you know. Oh, man. Who y'all think is Master Yoda? You know, who y'all think Yoda is in Obi-Wan, you know? You may as well go on and turn this whole parody thing around. You know, who y'all think who those guys, which is which? Who is Yoda? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, go as you must. Jedi, you're not. Oh man. I tell you, you know. The power of suffering. Yeah, you don't know the power of your inner self. You must let go, Luke. Oh, the Yoda, man. But yeah, man, we're just making fun of this type of stuff, man. This is very interesting, man. We are living in modern day Star Wars, man, with the Death Star, you know. Dun, 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 dun. You know, I got to hum. I can't do the rest of it, but copyright infringements, you know. They say, you know. But yeah, but that's what it is, though. Darth Hideous. Yeah, actually, that's my voice, though, too, you know. I do voiceovers, you know. But yeah, that's my voice right there. For those that don't know, that's my voice, the evil laugh, the Emperor's evil laugh, you know. I appreciate the likes, though, too. Thank you, guys. Yeah, just having fun early this morning before I retire and things. So, therefore, let me get, where's my other note set, though, too, because I want you guys, I know, there it is. It's coming up right here. So, some of you guys can basically see, I think you guys can see it. But yeah, we want to go over some stuff here. Your voice is very good. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Your voice is very good for Jedi. Voice is very good. I'm just kidding. You know, guys, y'all already know, though, I always love doing the Star Wars. I couldn't wait to do this one tonight. Let me see here. Yep, I couldn't wait to do it. Boy, I tell you, you know, you should be the new Tony Todd, you know. I don't know who Tony Todd is, but he sound cool to me, you know. It sound cool to me, you know. Man, but I try. Oops, hold on. Whoops, I didn't mean to remove that. Hold on, man. I'm sorry. There you go. I got it back. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, glad that y'all came in this morning, though. I'm glad that y'all having a good time. I'm happy to entertain you guys. I should have been in show business, right? I didn't want to do it because the stuff is too weird. You know, make you do things you don't want to do. But let me see here. Wait a moment, guys. I just want to let you guys see what is going on. Okay, the key funders and organizations involved. Right, the decentralizing BLM, and here it is. Self-granted tens of millions of other black-led groups. They've been controlling these black-led groups since 2020. Over 35 to 40 million reported, 70-plus organizations as of recent updates. Direct major institution donors to the core of BLM and titles or closely aligned efforts included. Let me see what you guys have to say here. Let me see here. Oh yeah, that's right, the Candy Man. I forgot that guy's name, but I remember I took a date when Candy Man. Oops, you know, I remember Candy Man was first out. Remember the first one? I remember taking a date to go see Candy Man. You know, you say his name 3 times in the mirror. Are y'all afraid to say Candy Man 3 times? Candy Man. Yep. The Candyman can. Oh no, that's actually Candyman can. That's actually, y'all know who that is. That's what's his name? Man. The Candyman, you know. Well, what's my name? What's my man's name? Starting to forget. Yep. Y'all know who that is, all right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what's my thing? Oh, here it is. Sammy Davis Jr. That's what I'm trying to think of. Let me see here. Where's my okay, so including the efforts of re-image public safety linked to defund, because he's behind defund the police, reform ideas, early reports cite 33 million plus to align organizations from 2015 to 16, protests through not always direct with the BLM and the GNF, you know, Ford Foundation partners, right? E.g. via the Black Led Movement funds, right? The Borellis philanthropy. Yeah, they're deep in this stuff though, you know. Let me see here. I want to get too far here. Let me see here. Right, you're an entertainer. Yeah, I try though. I try to entertain the people though, you know. You know, yeah, the old saying goes in show business: give the people what they want. You know. Yep. Oh yeah, Bojangles. Yeah, I had Bojangles fried chicken before too, over when I was in Virginia. You know, that's deep down there in the South with Bojangles. It was all right. The chicken is okay. It ain't like I gotta go out and get myself some Bojangles, you know. Yeah, yeah. He's from Virginia. Bojangles. Mm-hmm. Right, you're an entertainer. Yep. It says, I'm afraid. Yep. Don't be afraid, because fear is leads you to the power of the dark side. Well, as Yoda says, fear leads to anger. Anger leads to confusion. Confusion leads to suffering. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to be afraid, though, you know. You're an intellectual, too. I try to be, you know. You know, I try to be trying to make sense out of so much that's going on. But Darth hideous, ladies and gentlemen. He is hideous, though. But don't be afraid, because that's the thing about it. Fear leads to the power of the dark side. In this case, it leads to the dark side. And many other people have went to the dark side. Go to the light, you know. Yeah, there we go. That's where I put it. I just use a Star Wars thing to try to make sense out of this stuff, you know. Let me see. You got the Bojangles, good fried chicken. It's all right. Mm-hmm. You know, I would eat Popeyes more so than Bojangles. Bojangles is all right, you know. Raising Cane's, right? Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Darth Maul, you know. Oh yeah, that you can't leave him out either. Darth Maul, you know. Yeah, one of my favorite Siths, you know. Yep, his acrobatics and so forth. Yeah, the dual lightsaber, man, that was something. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. One of my favorite Siths. You know, who's your favorite Sith? Who's your favorite Sith? You know, so yeah, that's what it is though. But let me see. So where was I? Hold on for a minute. Go over my notes again. I'm still there with you guys too, and I appreciate you guys for showing up, just making fun of what's going on, because that's how I look at these clowns, right? Another notable one is the Noble Foundation, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, right, and the Borellis Philanthropy, right. These are direct grants to BLM affiliates, right, in the early years. Corporation and brand donations peaking in 2020. Many large companies made a pledge to fund the BLM-related causes, racial justice organizations, police reform groups, right? E.g., talking about, for example, NAACP, League Defense Fund. And these are things when they get arrested, they got a fund for them to get them right back out, you know. Equal justice, right? initiatives, color of change, right? Examples include Microsoft, Intel, right? We're talking about Airbnb, Cisco, Nike, Target, Uber, and others that donate ranging from hundreds to thousands and millions, often to multiple organizations, including BLM. A lot of them donated all this money, right? You guys remember the celebrities like Jay-Z, Beyonce also contribute directly in the early years with that BLM scam stuff, right? Other aligned groups and coalitions, right? With the Black Lives Matters, a coalition explicitly support defunding. Y'all remember the defunding the police? This is what they're doing right now. They're just doing, George Floyd all over again with Renee Good. That's all they're doing. Let me see what you have to say here. Darth Maul. I still don't know who. I don't know who I would think is going to be Darth Maul. Let me see here. K. Okay. K. I'm just going to call you K. Okay. Yeah. I think Star Wars is a story of humanity history. Sounds about right to me. But yeah, I would agree with that. Kay says, Darth Maul visited me in my dreams I had. Oh, really? I wonder how did that work out in your dreams? Kay says, you do realize those philanthropic organizations and companies believe in agencies, right? They do. Well, I won't shop Target or okay, I got here utilize Airbnb. I stayed at an Airbnb and occasionally I went to Target, but yeah, but Schwab is Darth AAL. Okay, yep, yeah, but yeah, that's the thing about it. A lot of them contributed a lot of money with BLM. Now, whether or not if they're still doing or still in league with some of these other so-called claiming to be social justice warriors, that's another thing. But just kind of giving a little bit of the history of over my notes and stuff that when I'm looking at and things. So the grassroots, right? The local efforts. It says here to reclaim the block in Minneapolis. Often, fundraisers independently, but aligned with the broader call. Much of the funding to BLM in 2020. So that was basically it there. Now just go ahead and move on. I mentioned this in my other lives though, but I'm gonna bring it back up again. The Annabella Foundation, right? This is the one, the Annabella, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? The Annabella Foundation is a global network supporting women survivors of gender-based violence, and it was in 88 countries. Also related to racial justice, right? BLM and policing issues. So again, these people's hands are behind this type of stuff. But what they do is they'll take on these victimhood causes. I'm not saying these causes are not a bad thing, but what they do is that's the precursor to hook them, and then when they go with their rhetoric and stuff like that, and they start brainwashing them, right? So when we start looking at it with the philanthropist type stuff, similar sounding names like Arabella Advisors, that's actually Eric Kessler and the Arabella. You guys can Google and pull that up. And now dissolved, now that they got found out, I think the new corporation they founded, I think it's what is it called? I think it's called a Sunflower Corporation, a Sunflower Organization, because the Arabella, when they got found out, is now dissolved, right? These were the progressives, right? Consulting firms that manage billions in dark money, right? Flows to the left-leaning nonprofit, right? Often criticized by conservatives, frequently appear in discussions for funding progressive causes. The Arabella advisors support entitled right? That Let me see here. Entitles tied to racial justice and policy advocacy, right? Example, via fiscal sponsorships for the groups in broader ecosystem, but it closed in late 2025, right? Admin GOP investigations, right? Because they were found out and investigated. They started following the money and stuff, with operations shifting to new, what's that, entitlement, called Sunflower Service. So that's the new one that you guys heard me mention about. So it jumped off of the Arabella and they went into the Sunflower Services, right? This is sometimes misspelled as it's misheard, but the let's see here. We read that. Okay, so so the Arabella advisors, right? So often shorthand conservative critiques, right? Salary underfunding. But yeah, but this is basically what it is though too. Right? So we talking about the foundations. Let me see it. Corporation pledges, grassroots small donations, and incorporate corporate pledges. For example, Nike, Microsoft in 2020. Foundations like Open Society, Ford, Barella's philanthropy. No mention of any of these blah blah. Oh, I might have misspelled that. It's all good. Let me see here. Let's see. The Arabella advisors were prominent in Washington D.C. based, but this is where your philanthropy consulting firms founded in 2005 by Eric Kessler. As you guys heard me mention his name, a former Clinton administrator appointee. That's interesting. Interesting it is. I must ponder on this. I must meditate on this one. The dark side clouds everything. Gotta make it entertaining, right? Clinton administration appointees in the League of Conservatism, right? Voter staffers is specialized in advising high net worth donors, foundations, corporations, and nonprofit, primarily left leaning, right? We talk about grant making, strategy, advocacy, impact investing, right? Operational support from the conservative circles, blah, 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 managing a vast network of nonprofit, often described as dark money. This is some dirty, dark money, boy. Dark side, dark money. Don't they all add up? See, this is Star Wars all over again. Dark money, right? From the dark side. There's a lot of dark money that I see. A lot of dark money. All right, let me see here. So yeah, this is basically what it is here. Yeah, man. You guys can probably see on the notes here that I've been reading. Yeah, so the donors, once again, says funding and donors, right? In fact, the firm emphasized racial justice philanthropy, especially post 2020 George Soros protests. It helps donors to direct funds to equality focusing causes, support, right? Particularly grant making for the communities, blah, blah, blah. They always want to dress it up, like it's all good, right? But yeah, this is exactly what's going on. We are doing a repeat. I should say we are in a repeat from George Floyd, from the protests with Renee Good. This is a repeat. That's why you guys are hearing defund the police. Pierre Omeyer, I believe it's pronounced. I may be bad at it. And George Soros with the Open Society Foundations. Yep. This is exactly what it is, though, You got the Weiss Foundation, Michael Bloomberg affiliates to the Democracy Alliance, This is exactly what's going on. You also have Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That was probably then when they were married. She got the hell out of there. She probably saw what was coming, probably. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Bill Gates Foundation, Melinda and Bill Gates, provide about $450 million over the 16 years, but quietly cut ties in mid-2025. Remember I said before they separated from Arabella because they got found out, but now it's just Sunflower Services. That's the new corporation. Business as usual. Business as usual. The dark side clouds our judgment on everything. Yeah, that is exactly what it is. You know, conservatives often label Arabella as a shadowy dark money operation, which it is. It blurs the lines between charitable and political work. This is how they trick you. They make these organizations sound so great because of the work that they do, right? But on the flip side of things, though, you have this. That's the flip side of it. This is what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Left is dark, yep. Yeah, the left is dark. It sure is, though, you know. Yep, the left is dark. So, yeah, that's the thing about it, though. Dark money, the dark side of the force, you know. You got to come into the light, you know. That's what Anakin Skywalker, you know, once he was a Jedi, you know, and things. But because of fear, he was afraid that he was going to lose Padme, you know, which was his beloved and so forth, you know. So he figured that if he were to join with Palpatine, which is really dark, hideous, you know, that he could be able to save Padme. Y'all know the story, right? Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Darth Hideous. He's the one, and others, because, you know, they always have others too, you know. Yep. This is the empire, you know, that we're fighting against, which is the deep state empire. Boy, this is like a movie, isn't it? Let me see here. Kay says, weird though. Weird through, okay. Trump's granddaughter name is Arabella. Oh, really? I never knew her. I mean, I'm familiar with her. Mm-hmm. The Arabella Corporation. And that's her name, Arabella? Boy, what a coincidence. I know that can go down a rabbit hole too, right? I did not know that. I wonder, were they making fun, trying to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and open up, or actually we're going to set up a business and call it Arabella just to piss Trump off, right? You never know, though, you know. Yeah, I find that to be, it's a very interesting name, though, you know, Arabella. I did not know that, though. Thank you for sharing, you know. And for you guys that are hanging around right now, I appreciate it, though, you know. You know what we can do? Mm-hmm. George, okay, G. Soros is, yeah, Palpatine. Yeah, he sure is. Yep, he is Palpatine, y'all. I always said the Darth Hideous. He is Palpatine. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to go ahead and pull this back up again. Actually, I'm going to pull up something else here. Yeah, I can't pull up any other Star Wars stuff. I ain't going to do that one, but I'm gonna pull up something else here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let me see here. Oh, yeah, let's do this here. Yeah, here's the riots in Minneapolis today. I'm going to show you guys. Here it is.
There's news. Fox News alert: an unlawful assembly declared in Minneapolis after thousands of anti-ICE protesters hit the streets in response to the fatal shooting of Renee Good.
And they got fireworks out there.
With one group attempting to breach a hotel where they believed ICE agents are staying.
Yeah, I heard they tried to break in. Was it the Hilton?
On the ground in Minneapolis with the latest. Matt, good morning. What are you seeing there?
Well, Rachel, it's quiet right now, but really just a few hours ago, not far from where I'm standing, things turned violent and got pretty dicey. A large crowd of protesters and rioters surrounded a hotel where they believe immigration agents are staying here in Minneapolis. Our Garrett Tenney was on the scene last night. He said a smaller group of the protesters broke into the depot in downtown Minneapolis, tossing around the furniture inside, while others were spray painting anti-ICE messages on the windows. Now, outside, the protesters were playing instruments, banging drums, and blowing whistles to prevent immigration agents from sleeping or getting rest. Our Fox affiliate reports police declared an unlawful assembly sometime around the 10 o'clock hour. Now, yesterday, body camera video showing some of the final moments leading up to that ICE agent shooting of Renee Good was obtained by Fox. Let's watch that full video.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead. Out of the car.
Yeah, I think she's supposed to throw some money at him and say, go get yourself some money, big boy. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. What the? Oh,
now, Vice President J.D. Vance says that body camera video shows that the officer shot Renee Good in self-defense, but the Democratic mayor federal agent.
He walked away with a hop in his step from the incident.
Yeah, here's the mayor, Jacob Fry.
He held on his cell phone. I think that speaks for itself. I can see a person that is trying to leave. I can see an ICE agent that was not run over by a car. That didn't happen.
So DHS sources, including a senior official, tell Fox News that about 1,000 additional agents are on their way here to Minneapolis, scheduled to surge this city. There's already roughly about 2,000 federal agents that have already been here, so it's very clear that DHS is placing its focus on Minneapolis-St. Paul right now. You know, last summer I covered the raids in Los Angeles. Of course, Fox covered everything that went down in Chicago, also New Orleans. Right now, the focus is on Minneapolis-St. Paul. And Border Patrol tells me the more immigration agents that are on the ground here, boots on the ground here, that frees up HSI investigators to investigate the ongoing fraud. That's the backdrop of all this, that fraud scandal that we've been reporting on.
Yep, the fraud.
That's also happening simultaneously in addition to the immigration.
This is just a ruse, ladies and gentlemen, to deflect and try to pivot away from the fraud. The fraud is so huge that not even this type of stuff with Renee Good's death is going to overshadow it. The fraud and corruption is just too great. But you can see what Governor Tim wants and the mayor, they're trying to use, they want to politicize this thing. They already have. They already have been politicizing this thing. And this is why we're here right now.
Enforcements. Back to you guys in New York.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
And I think it's...
Okay, we gotta stop that. All right, but yeah. Kay says, perhaps the white anti-ICE protesters think they will be rounding up and rounded up and displaced from this country next. I don't get why they're so invested in this immigration mess, because a lot of them are getting paid. This is a paid situation though, because I can't see a lot of them being involved with and things. And why don't you see like Somalis out there? I just see a bunch of whites, liberals. Why aren't they out here protesting? Why not any other these organizations, these communities protesting if it's so much of a problem, right? So that's the thing about it. So it's all suspect to me and things, but just something don't smell right, you know. Kay says yes, fun and corruption, right? Is great. I don't understand why black people can't see the Democrats who and what they really are. One thing I can say is that 92% of the black women that vote Democrat, right? Because you already know the little programs, the little trinkets and trash that they were given and things. So they are Democrat loyalists, you know, for the most part. Some of them have actually pulled away from it, but the majority of them are still Democrat. You know, they will always be Democrat. They think that the Democrat is the party of the ancestors. Really, there's the Republicans really are. They hate the fact of because of the brainwashing, the victimhood, you know. All this stuff goes in hand with each other because it's all fear-based. And they party from the left have fear-based black community far too long. Look at the failed Democratic-leaning policies in these major black cities across the United States. We can just see right then and there that Democrat policies have failed the black community. From their government education, you start looking at these other types of social programs that were given to make them a slave, keep them in lockstep with each other, thinking that they're doing a difference. In actuality, it's just teaching them how to be dependent on a system. Communist and socialist overtones, right? They believe in big government. They want to be taken care of. It's no different than being on a slave plantation. As long as they stay on that slave plantation forever and ever and ever, and as long as they're getting something in return, they're okay with it. And this is how many other blacks are being controlled. The black leaders are getting paid on the top, though. But there's no change in the inner cities, though, because all I see is crime, violence, drugs, and everything else is over there, you know. It don't work for them. They think it does, but it doesn't, right? Let me go ahead and get back to your comments here. Let me see here. Kay says, you're right. They don't get paid. No, they don't. They just, this is the only group that didn't require anything, though, too, you know. They can go and visit the black community 2 to 4 years and get nothing in return. And they're okay with it, you know, as long as they got their vote. But things are changing now. Democrats are not looking to the black community no more. They've been looking to these, what do we call them, foreigners. These are their constituents, you know. So these are the people that the Dems are backing. They want to keep that going. The biggest constituents are these Somalis over here in Minneapolis, right? These are the people that the politicians from the left, they rely on these people, you know. These are the people that they look forward to, right? These people right here, they look forward to it. Let me see. Kay says they think that we're Africans are not. Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of us are not, though. It's family, foundational blacks, and so forth. Going to the whole history of it, we're already here, you know. So when we talk about, the one thing which is Aborigines, you know, being Aboriginal, meaning from the beginning, it was already here. Even Christopher Columbus found that out, you know. With the black natives, they were already here already, which is called the real American Indian. Not the $5 Indians that you see right now. That's late Johnny come later type stuff, you know. But other than that, yeah, it definitely is what it is. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for rocking out with your boy. But yeah, this is exactly what it is, though. Yeah, so these particular, let me see, I'm going to make sure. Kay says, we are indigenous black Americans who we discovered to be here originally, yet they stole our land, America. Yeah, this is exactly what ended up happening. I do believe that things are going to be set right because the politicians had every opportunity to do the right thing, but they decided to do the wrong thing and incited, even with the so-called blacks. It's a word that I really hate to use to identify who we really are. I mean, I tolerate it. I'm not offended, but we should be offended. I'm going to tell you why, because black is not a color. It's the absence of color, you're right? And they use this to trick us out of our birthright. Because if you don't have sovereignty, you don't know who you really are, and you're speaking, I'm black, I'm this and that, they don't have to give you nothing. And this is exactly what ended up happening, right? Kay says the $5 Indian are Asians who walked across the land bridges and came here on foot. We were already here. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. This is exactly what ended up happening. regards to that. You know, I rock out with your boy, what's his name? Dane Calloway. Yeah, he does an excellent job of breaking this stuff down. I am a fan of his work. He's one that put made it popularized and things like that. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. Jordan Williams says Rockefeller and Rothschild owns the government. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that though too. You know, yeah, the Rockefeller stuff. It's a very interesting thing because he was the one that paid the Rosenbergs to come out of Africa theory. This is why a lot of blacks right now believe they all come out of Africa. This is the one. They're the same people that brought up the Atlantic slave trade that didn't happen, but they want to put that out there that happened. They carry these narratives, you know, as well as the Rothschild, you know, and things like that. So these people that sit at the top, and I think there's people that we don't even know that's maybe higher than these guys, but yeah, they all have a hand in each other. This is what this government, but you're absolutely right, Jordan. Let me go ahead and post this up first, and then we're going to post up the other thing what Jordan had to say as well, too. Jordan Willingham, yep. He's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is exactly what ended up happening, you know. And, the Rockefellers, they made their whole fortune out of swindling, conning, cheating people. They taught their whole family how to cheat. These are cheaters, you know, and things like that. So I have no respect for them at all. A Rockefeller, I don't. These are cheat con men. You know, they taught their whole family how to cheat. That's how they were able to get where they have today, you know. Rothschild, they manipulated was the outcome of the when the war was going on and things like that. So the Rothschilds made out big time on that, you know. So that's what they do. Yeah, that's what they do. Cheat, lie, steal, and kill. Ain't that something? Yeah, so that's what they do. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys showing up. Yeah, we try to talk about something a little bit different and stuff like that. More the influencers should be talking about the Rockefellers. They should be talking about the Rothschild, the Red Shield. They should be talking about this stuff here because this is important. These are the master manipulators behind monetary banking. The reason that we have a Federal Reserve has a lot to do with these guys and others. We've been under tyranny. We've been under slavery. Debt and taxes are slavery, right? And without knowing the truth, this is exactly what it is, though, ladies and gentlemen. And they use these phony organizations to keep our eyes off the prize. Why you think sports and theater and all this other stuff, nothing wrong with having a great time, but people that getting consumed in this stuff, nobody's sitting up here watching G7 summit and all this other kind of nonsense. They don't want the masses of people to know what's really going on. We know it, but now truth is coming in. People are waking up. People are seeing the truth for what it really is. So with these phony riots and all this other kind of stuff, because the power is being stripped from them. You know, they're being bankrupt. The funding is being shut down, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what's going on. It's being shut down. Yeah, just a distraction. That's what it's designed to do. To get you caught up into these like useless victimhood, going out here and protesting and all this other nonsense. It's designed to take your eyes off the prize. So nothing good can come from it. Not at all. And like I said, when you know the truth and you know what's going on, it's not about being a victim. It's about having the knowledge to empower yourselves. And the progressives want you to accept victimhood like they did the black community. We, as black folks, know the victimhood game very well. This is why we never progress very much, because of progressivism and these phony black leaders and stuff, that they get their money from the pastors and the church and all the rest of this stuff, right? And these phony civil rights activists and these grifters, they all grift. Because like I always say, if you want to take a look of where America is going, it start with the black community first. The black community is a precursor of what's happening in America today. Because the stuff that we're seeing right now happened in the black community already. You know, this is exactly what it is. It's nothing good can come from this at all. Not at all. Just distraction. You're absolutely right. Let's see here. You're so smart and articulate. You should run. You should run. I get that a lot though too. Yeah, Kay, I get that a lot. I get about, I don't know about me being smart though, but I mean I try though, you know. I ain't no dummy either, but I try, you know. But I've had people. Thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. But I have had people many times say, "Yeah, you should run for political office and stuff," you know. But yeah, I'm not a politician now. I'm just some random dude, you know. But I get a lot of compliments on my voice too, you know. They say, "Yeah, your voice, you know." I people all the time, man. I love your voice, you know. Yep. So yeah, but yeah, I've just been blessed. And I guess you could say blessed or a gift to be able to express oneself, you know. Yeah. And then even I, you know, jumble up words sometimes, but it happens though, because nobody's perfect. But I appreciate it. That's a hell of a compliment, and I thank you. You know, in fact, I'm gonna put that up there again. There we go. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Put that up again. There we go. Yeah, it's okay to toot one's horn, though, you know. But I appreciate you, though, Kay. I appreciate you, Jordan, and everybody else that come into the live chat today talking about this type of stuff, because this is what we're up against. You know, we are all Americans, though. You know, that's the thing about it. Even though we all have had a lot of things like a wealth that has been stripped from us here in America because of these people, right? We start thinking about it. It's like he said, the Rothschilds, right? The Rockefellers, and we can go right down to it. There's a lot of people in power, right, that hijacked this country since 1913, and this is why we in the situation that we in now. You know, so this is exactly what it is. This is what's producing this, right? This is what we're dealing with, you know. Yeah, we're dealing with this type of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We are dealing with this stuff. Here's another one. You can't criticize me. I'm Jewish. Right? Dark money going on to anti-Semitism, you know, groups. Right? Here it is. You got Hamas, the Nazi flag, anti-Jewish flag. And that's what they do. They hide behind this, but this is what it is. This is him again. This is Darth Hideous. Look how hideous he's looking. Right? Krusty, Mr. Krusty. Right? He got over here, defund the police, ADL, left-wing radical, protester lawfare, open borders, as well as the D. You know who that is, the Demo KKK rats. He is the puppet master. He ain't by himself, like I said before. If it was just left up to one person, it'd be too easy. But he's another cog in the machine, just like the rest of them. Yeah, here it is. Mr. Krusty himself. Right? This is exactly what it is. And then you got people that are so entrenched, so far gone mentally, brainwashed and all. They look at this man as being a great man. He's behind the politicians as well. I'm surprised they ain't put him with him that controlled the well, he just said Democrats, but it's really the Democrat so-called elite leaders. Bernie Sanders and all of them being controlled by this man right here. There he is, right there. Ain't that something? Isn't that something, ladies and gentlemen? Kay says that's true. Kay says every immigrant group comes to America, right, and uses us to raise up, all right, economically on poor and then the inner city population. Yeah, they've been doing that with the so-called blacks. You know, it's always used as so-called blacks, meaning it's not blacks, but they have used this with the indigenous people for a long time. They put them into the inner cities, right? They give them free taxes and all kind of stuff, and this is how they come up, right? This is orchestrated because the plan was, if Trump would have never got in there, what was going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? We would have more and more and more and more illegal aliens in this country, where they would be the majority group, and then the Americans would be the minority group. And then, just like I said, they would start taking the rights, which they have been. And what I mean by rights, we're talking about from government assistance to everything else. They would be given all the money, what they were given. They were being put up in the hotels. Y'all remember that? The Hilton and all the rest of them. These expensive hotels and stuff like that. Was it the Ritz-Carlton? They were being put up and all. This was what was going on. This was the plan. This was under Biden and Kamala Harris, right? This was the plan, you know. This was the plan, and it was orchestrated by these evil groups. Yep, it was orchestrated, though. Exactly what it is. They were purposely doing that. With yours truly.
Hello.
I want to talk to you. I'll come first.
They put a little comedy relief
No,
in
no,
it.
We're there after two.
Brown brush. I mean,
I was waiting for you to say it.
I love it. You're like, how she was like, you and quit. You make laugh.
Y'all know who that is. Sounded like the
Your
Joker.
answer is part of the job.
So. Okay, we don't. She don't need that.
I'm sure.
Okay. You're welcome. Pull out a Venn diagram.
Yeah, y'all know who that laugh is. Let me read what you had to say, Kay. Every immigrant group. Oh, yeah, I read that one already. Okay. Kay says, right in all the governments of the blue states are being controlled by Mr. Krusty. It's absolutely correct. We can call him Mr. Krusty or Darth Hideous, you know. Either or would do. Kay says, those cartels are thriving off of American blood as well as those gangs, right? Did you guys hear about what they're saying, how they captured Nicolas Maduro? They were like there was some type of energy weapon that was used against his little standing army that he had coming out of Cuba. And they were saying how they used that energy weapon where their eyes and they were vomiting blood and everything. So they're coming out with it. Now, y'all remember when Trump said a little while back, he said it last year, but he said that America has weaponry that he said we're so advanced with our weaponry, people really don't know. I mean, we America got some stuff. We got some stuff, right? And we can kind of see, they were saying that those energy weapons and stuff that was actually being used, and this is how they were able to capture Maduro. You know, they were able to capture him, and they just took these guys down so easy. You know, when they sent in the drone strikes and stuff, there was no American casualties at all. So this sent a shockwave message over there in the Latin world, where the cartel is heavy, and I think they're gonna start playing ball now with Trump, because I know he said he's probably gonna end up doing the same thing to Cuba and eventually they're gonna go to Mexico too. This is a war that Trump is doing, fighting the deep state, going after the CT. Y'all know what that means, and stuff like that. So they're going after these dark forces that have been a plague on our society for a very, very long time. So this is exactly what it is. Yep, Mr. Krusty. Yep, I'm just over here reading. Let me read this comment here as well too. I'm gonna post them up. Kay says those cartels thrive on American blood as well as those gangs. Absolutely correct. Kay says Carmela is the witch. At least Candace Owens exposed her for her lies. Yeah, and Candace Owens does do some things that are good. I wish that she didn't go against Trump and put those. She did. Marjorie Taylor Greene said the same thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm sorry. And this is, yeah, when you go against Trump, you lose, you know. Kay says Trump did allude to the high-tech weapons. Exactly. And this is what they used in order to take Nicholas down. Moderna, they ended up taking him down with those high-tech energy weapons. We're talking about child, when we say CT, child, you know what the other word is. You can put it in. If you got trafficking, right? The XEX trafficking as well. So they're going after the whole thing, you know. And they're taking them down. This is a global hunt, you know. And I appreciate the likes, though, too. And you know what? You guys can share this information with other friends of yours. Therefore, I can rate even higher in their algorithms. Yeah, trafficking, exactly. Yeah, I don't like saying the other word in that, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. And this is a hunt. And this is why I said I wanted to talk about this tonight, that shows some of the puppet masters. There's many more. But some of these puppet masters that they're already watching, already doing an investigation, compiling the evidence before the indictments and stuff like that. So, yeah. So there it is. Right here. Mr. Krusty. Krusty the Clown. Oh, man, Krusty. Yeah, so that's exactly what it is, though. That's exactly what's going on. You guys all right tonight? You guys doing pretty good? I appreciate you guys hanging with your boy, rocking out with me, man. You know, just over here having a great time tonight as I unwind. You know, hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and things. So yeah, but yeah, that's one of those type of things here that we are talking about. I would like to see more content creators talk about this type of stuff. Some of them do, though. A lot of the great stuff is on Rumble. Oh, yeah, by the way, you guys know that I'm on Rumble as well, too. I have shifted and moved over there, preparing for the storm, you know. But, yeah, I'm on Rumble. I'm on Twitch. I'm on X as well. Yeah, I'm on a lot of these platforms and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, but X, I got 5 people. What's going on to my X group over there, man? I'm starting to gain a little traction over there on X and stuff like that. But, yeah, I appreciate you guys over there, man. Yeah, because I follow a lot of people on X and stuff like that. What's her name? There's a few of them, too, you know. Insurrection Barbie or something. Insurrection Barbie. I follow her, too. That's a paid service, but she keeps me informed, you know. Kay says, many do not like the truth sayers, right? You speak truth, the people will follow. Yeah, I've been getting. I remember when I first started, though, I didn't really have a lot of followers in the beginning, but I appreciate that, though, Kay. Yeah, because I want to put out the truth, talk about, because right now we are in an exposure season right now. The exposure culture to make it more, more plain. But yeah, right now we are in the exposing who these clowns are, to know them by name, what they've been involved with, what they've been doing, As you guys can see here with this little animation, this little cartoon. I'm an artist myself, but I did not draw this though. But some of you guys have seen this off of, I think this is off of X, but I just borrowed it though. I don't think they would mind. This is not my creation, but this is just coming from the Swamp Monsters News, which you guys should follow. Check them out though too. But this is, you know, once again, you got the Nazi swastika under Hamas, right? And Hamas is a state-funded organization anyway, though. It was created here in America, though. So your Hamas, your Hezbollah, your Al-Qaeda, you know what I'm saying, and Taliban, all of them are state-funded. Every last one of them, though, too. So, you know, the whole 9/11 thing, we already know what's going on with that. But backed by dark money, anti-Semitism groups, right? You can't criticize me. I'm Jewish. Yep. This is his protection, because a person this evil is not Jewish. Not in my opinion, he's not. You know, to be be behind all this type of stuff, and I think where the water gets a little murky with Candace Owens, though, you got to start putting the people. You know, even though he was born as a Jew from Hungary in the Nazi concentration camps that he survived. I think some of his family members survived as well too. You know, so here it is, ladies and gentlemen. United States and Russia saved his butt, but yet and still he hates America. How does that happen? Yeah, you can pull up George Soros' history though. He's a Nazi survivor. I want to say this right. He's a Jewish, not Nazi, in my opinion, you know, but yeah, he's a Jewish survivor of the Nazi concentration camps. This guy is from Hungary originally, right? This, because of America and Russia, we both of these countries saved the Europeans over there. If it wasn't for us, though, man, shoot. But he hated America so much. Defund the police, ADL, left-wing radical protester lawfare, open borders. This guy was behind open borders. He funded this stuff to allow illegal aliens to come into America. His disdain against the American people and the Constitution, he hates it. But America saved him and his family. This will be the question I would have for him. But this is how sick these people are, though, ladies and gentlemen. This is how sick they are. Go figure. You can go and pull it up. I don't deal with Chat GPT. I'm going to say this again because it's very, very left-leaning. It pulls its a lot of its sources from, I want to say sources from Politico, Reuters, some of these left-leaning rags that I do not read them. I do not read the news from them. I get my news from Ground News, and I just want to let you guys know I'm not sponsored by Ground News, but that's where I get it from. I get it from Ground News. Yeah. Let me see what Kay has to say here. Kay says they want to destroy America. They sure do. They really do. They hate the Constitution. America was really the last frontier. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that American people have this freedom. We should be the only ones that enjoy freedom. And with the stupid Americans that would do my bidding, I am the puppet master. Politicians do not control me. I control them. And it's true. Mr. Krusty is telling you guys, I'm behind these people. I tell them what to do because I got the money. They don't. They've been allowed to be given some money off of these dirty dealings and stuff like this and all this dark money. You know, the dark side. Darth Hideous himself, right here, aka Mr. Krusty. Yep, you guys are seeing some of the faces and stuff. So I would like to see Candace go into this situation. I still say that she's being controlled. You know, she is a op plant designed to disrupt and to split up MAGA. But people are on to her now, and they're pulling away from her. They are Satanists. Yeah, they really are. Okay, Satanists. Yep, exactly. And it's sad, though, too, because I'm saying, in my opinion, Candace has already been bought. You know, she turned away from Trump. The same thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene criticized Trump on Israel and all the rest of the stuff. She was the same person, once again, that sit up here and say that how Trump is being controlled by Nelson Yahoo. She was the one that said that Trump was compromised, when in actuality, you know, when people project, it's really her that's compromised, you know, because it don't make any sense, you know. She pulled away the group. She pulled away from these organizations that gave her a chance. I mean, what do you think that Ben Shapiro going to do when you was on Daily Wire? And then you started attacking TC, USA and stuff, you know? But that's what she do, create controversy and bring in speculative type of narratives that she can't even prove, you know? But that's what she was designed to do, you know? And I believe Candace Owens was, in my opinion, she was always bought. She was put in MAGA for a minute as to infiltrate. Because remember, Candace Owens never liked Trump in the beginning. And when you've been a progressive posing as a conservative, you're only going to be found out eventually. And people have been waking up from her. I heard from a friend of mine that she's supposed to have dropped down in the podcast ratings. She's not in the top 5 anymore because she was exposed on Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan told her up. I showed that when I did that live. Yeah, Kay says she was compromised and got her benefits for the life and then quit. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because we got to keep in mind, Candace Owens is not a journalist. She's just a mommy and a podcaster, you know. She's actually married to a Jew. So what that tell you? I mean, where she come after them, and you got a husband that's a Jew. Every Jew or Jewish person is not Mr. Krusty. But the way these people want to make it like they all like Mr. Krusty, they're not. I got friends that are Jewish too. They're not Mr. Krusty. You know? Here he is, a Holocaust survivor. You know? If it wasn't for the United States and Russia, once again, they painted Russia as a big bad villain. But because of these two countries, and he hates Russia. He hates America like Russia. Right? Nobody's sitting up here saying Vladimir Putin is a saint. But come on. This guy right here made Vladimir Putin a saint. Look at the mass destruction Mr. Krusty have done to racial groups in this country. He has been meddling in our oh man, you know what I'm trying to say, man. Maybe I'm getting tired now. That's what it is. You know, in our election, right? Our politicians in our elections. This Mr. Krusty right here. Right? I like this cartoon of Mr. Krusty. Look at you see the crustiness? He probably got dandruff, even Head and Shoulders can't fix. You know what I'm saying? Head and Shoulders can't fix all that dandruff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Head and Shoulders can't fix that dandruff. From Mr. Krusty. Hi, Mr. Krusty. Yeah, hi, Mr. Krusty. Yeah. That's Mr. Krusty, y'all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys coming on this morning. I said I was going to knock this one out and everyone else would catch up to it when it turns into a video. Excuse me, when it turns into a video. I want something else I want to show you guys too. As you guys can see, I've been really, you know, so some of these guys, so you have seen, you know, this part of this dark money. Yeah, these are the Rinos right here. Oh yeah, let me just go and pop these guys up. Yeah, these are the Rinos. Mitch McConnell. Yep, these are the Rinos right here, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, you guys can definitely see the Rinos. I don't know, it's not showing up right now. Oh yeah, it's not showing up right now, but that's all right. Yeah, it's not showing up right now, but let me see here. Let me see if I can get it to show up. Can I get it to show up? No, only Mr. Krusty is showing up right now. Yeah, I was trying to get that one to show you guys something else here, but that one definitely not showing up here. All right, let's do this here. So now, therefore, I can get it to show up. That's one thing about it. StreamYard is so easy. All I gotta do is just pop it in and for it to show up. But nope, I don't want to do the update on the software tonight. Yeah, I don't want to do that update. Hold on for a minute. Hold on, guys. Just give me one moment here. Wanted to bring up this here once again. All right. Let me see here. Hold on for one moment. Mr. Krusty. Hi, Mr. Krusty. Oh, boy, boy, boy. All right, let's see here. You guys can really see Mr. Krusty now? All right. Yes, I can't get the other things to show up. Oh well, we just have to keep Mr. Krusty up here. You know, but give me 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. Just got to use the bathroom. Hold on for a minute. Okay, I have returned as promised, but I'll just read it off instead of, because I can't get it to show. But we're gonna pull up the matrix. I'm actually looking at it right now. So the matrix, it has here what they believe in, what these progressives, when it come down to collective state-controlled economy, centralized control of capital, right? This is what Mr. Krusty believes in as well. Mr. Krusty, ruled by elites, right? This is what it is. Experts and bureaucrats, state-controlled media, right? Censorship of free speech, disarm the population, criminalization of political opponents, putting internal enemies in camps, right? This is exactly what this was the plan. Mass murder of unwanted humans. Yes, 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 right? Because these tactics have come from Nazi Germany, also with Mussolini in Italy, in Russia, right? As well as the Dems. They follow the same practice. This is where all this socialism, BS type stuff come from. This is all them. This is what they believe in, ladies and gentlemen. This is where this stuff is coming from. I don't have to make this stuff up. And a lot of you guys already know what's going on anyway. Kay said, let me see, I'm going to make sure I don't miss the comments here. I got to go back to my comments. All right, so Kay says she was compromised and got her. Yeah, I remember reading that. Yep, and then right here, Kay says, I subscribe to your channel. Okay, let me just post that up here too. And you guys feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. Kay says, I subscribe to your channel. You're relevant. Okay, yeah, and thumbs up, good. I appreciate what this channel is about. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That is the COVID shot. Yeah, exactly. The COVID shot as well too. And things though, you know. Kay says national Germany rules, unfortunately still. Let me ask you this, Kay. Are you over there in Europe somewhere, or are you in America? Because well, what they doing, the Germans over there right now, it's bad. Just like in the UK and France, man. Your freedom is being, your sovereignty is being stripped away from you. And controlled speech. You can't let me see, national Germany rules, unfortunately still. Yeah, are you over there in Germany? I hope not. Yeah, they're going to have their economical, they're destroyed the reactors over there and pushing, like American here. Whew, that's a good thing. Yeah, you guys know how lucky you guys are to be an American right now? We the last frontier, you know? My friends from Canada visited me earlier, man. It's bad over there. What is it, 75 cents to the American dollar? I mean, right now, my dollar is 40 cents more powerful in Canada right now. It's like $1.40 to their 75 cents. They're not doing so well in Canada, too, man. Shout out to Canada, man. But like she said, she thinks it's maybe too late. Because even with their elections and stuff, they have to fight the corruption, the rigging of the machines. You know how the stuff that the Democrats get down on, and yeah, it's gonna be an uphill battle, man. It's gonna be tough for the Canadians. It'd been nice if they would have joined alongside the Americans fighting against the UK. They wouldn't be in this situation. They decided to stay with the UK, and look what's going on over there. Kay says, wonder if the elites are the bloodline of the Nephilims, right? Who want to destroy man and mankind. That's a very good question, though, too, you know? You know? That is a very good question, though. The Nephilims, you talking about the giants like, what's that? We're talking about the actual, yeah. Let me see here. The Nephilim. Yeah, I'm familiar with them though too. Yeah, the Book of Enoch, Gilgamesh, and so forth. Yeah. Aren't they supposed to be tall like giants? You know, the ones that the angels supposed to have came down out of the sky, which I still think they're aliens, but angels, aliens, and made it with the human mortal woman. Yes, the descendants of the fallen. Exactly. Yeah, they said when Satan fell, though, from heaven, it was like a thunder, and things like that. Yep. Yeah. But I know what you're talking about, though, I try to stay up on some of this stuff. Kay says correct. Yep. Let me go ahead and put that up here, too. Yeah. Yep, exactly. The angels and aliens, same thing. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Yeah, what they call angels, but aliens. Yep. I'm in agreement of that, though, too. I really am. I am in agreement of that. Just putting these comments up over here so everybody else can see. Yeah, Kay, I appreciate you. They hate man. Yeah. Yeah, hate your creation that you have created. Yeah, they hate man so much. Yeah. This would be the Greys and other types of aliens out there. I should do a special thing. I tried to before. I think I'm going to do that one day. Where we're talking about the ancient aliens, from the sky, that come from these other worlds. They say they're living amongst us right now. I do believe that. You got the Greys as well, too, with those big old black eyes, those piercing black eyes, Yep, the aliens, yep. The tall whites and other alien. What about the reptilians that live under the ground and shapeshifters and all that stuff, man? Would y'all want me to do a live stream on that? I have to do that like early in the morning, like I'm doing now. Y'all think is that the next one y'all want me to do? Y'all think y'all want to hear that? Y'all want me to do that? Yes, the Greys and the tall whites. Yeah. Yeah, the tall whites, though, they have their translucent skin, They're white, white hair, white pale skin, and they have the eyes that are blue when they're young. And then what else? Their eyes get pink after a while when they get older and things. Yeah, the tall whites, and things like that. I know why we got a hater in the house here. Let me go ahead and put that up either. Hold on for a minute. Steve Francis says, fuck DJT, fuck MAGA, Yeah, but, yeah, this is the one. Unfortunately, Steve, you done fell to the dark side. You were fooled by Darth Hideous. Mr. Krusty got his mind. Some of these people can't turn back from the dark side, though. Stephen Francis, you have been tricked by the dark side of the Force. Fear and suffering. See, he fears what he does not know. But once you come around to the light side, which is MAGA, we are the true rebellion, that are the counter to this, to Darth Krusty Hideous, which is George Soros. Yeah. Yeah, so Stephen, one day, man, when you come away from the dark side and come to the light side, though, man, you don't have nothing to fear. Kay says demonic faces. Yeah, demonic faces. Yeah, I think one day I will do something on I'm gonna call it Angels and Aliens. I think that'd be the nice title of it all, where we could talk more about the tall whites. Yep. Too many lies rot their brain for even lost lefties. Yeah, some of them can't be reformed. That's true. Some of them have been, because what the thing that Stephen forgot, and he knows this, Donald Trump used to be a Democrat. What, Tom McDonald, The Devil is a Democrat? That song, I love that song by Tom McDonald. If I was able to play it, I would. But besides Trump, Tulsi Gabbard used to be a Democrat, right? RFK Jr. used to be a Democrat. There's a list of people that used to be Democrats. They didn't have no smoke for Trump when he was a Democrat. Trump donated a lot of money to these fictitious progressive organizations that he learned about later that was no good. He gave much money, gave a lot of money to Al Sharpton, Snaketon, and Jesse Jackson. He actually, when Jesse Jackson ran to become president back in 1984, Trump was there to help finance Jesse Jackson's political career. Facts. Facts. So Stephen Francis, man, yeah, if they were able to, it tells you a whole lot. If they were able to, you know, turn away from the dark side when they started discovering the truth, you know, when they found out what was going on, they didn't become Democrat anymore, right? Kay says, many eyes. I read that one. Kay says, wow, that's about DJT. Yeah. DJT, boy, I tell you. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But, yep. Trump derangement syndrome. There's something to be said about Trump deranged syndrome. If you have these signs or symptoms of can't sleep at night, you're scared and fear, you think about Trump all the time, you can't stand his name, you lash out, you in anger, frustration, even when you see a MAGA hat, there's chances that you may be suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Now, we do have a cure for that, by the way, you know, so to be able to cure Trump derangement syndrome, you have to turn away from the TV, stop watching the fake news that controls and clouds your brain, you know. That's one of the first things. Drink some water, you know, maybe stop eating so much of processed foods and stuff. So therefore you can be able to recover and things, because as long as you have Trump derangement syndrome, you'll never be able to overcome. You will never be able to overcome it. Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see here, this guy is angry. He thinks that Trump is the problem. And the reason that he's acting out more, these guys always come in here, though. This is not nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Nothing new, but Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Derangement, right? That's exactly what it is. Boy, I tell you. Boy, it's funny, though. Yeah. So we're going to go over all the signs with the Trump derangement. Right. Boy, I tell you. Let me see here. When you're triggered by Trump, the psychologist, all right, a psychotherapist, right? Let me see here. Jonathan Alper says Trump derangement syndrome is real. 75% of his patients have symptoms including sleeplessness, hyperfixation, fluctuation causes by the mere mention of President Trump. And this is the thing about it, though. We have to be able to, is there a cure for it? For some people, it may not be. The Trump derangement syndrome. Boy, I tell you. Yeah, they come in here. You know who else I like too? I follow her channel. And you guys, what's her name? Caitlin, what's her last name? Yeah, Caitlin has been out there on the front lines, man. She be handcuffing them with just straight up logic, man. Yeah. Trump derangement says TDS can't shut up long enough. Look at this. Trump, they get emotional. Look at it. Boy, Caitlin, oh yeah, Caitlin Bennett. Sorry about that. That's it. Caitlin Bennett, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all don't know who she is by now, yep, Caitlin Bennett be out there handling them too. And she don't have no problem going in behind enemy territory, you know. I think she does have a bodyguard though too. And shout out to Caitlin Bennett though too. Caitlin Bennett. Yeah. Caitlin Bennett, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Yeah, she been single-handedly handling they behind, you know. But yeah, they want to just sit up in here, this Trump derangement thing. Do I have anything else on Trump derangement syndrome? Let me see. Just a mere mention of Trump. When they see the MAGA hat, they just go ballistic, man. They be melting down, boy. And I do have a few MAGA hats, though, too, you know. Yeah, so for the men, some of it could because they may have a micro penis. This is one of the things that they were saying, though. I don't know, but these are some of the symptoms of Trump derangement syndrome, especially for men, you know. Yeah, but yeah, I tell you, boy. Yep. So the Trump derangement syndrome. Let me see here. 7 Trump derangement. How the brain rots. You know, Democrats siding with drug dealers over President Trump. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Just shows how far they've fallen, right? Right. It's amazing though, man. These people have fallen big time. And they have no type of leverage other than to create riots and anger and frustration, you know. They look at Trump as the devil himself instead of Mr. Krusty over here. Yeah, this is who we're looking at, Mr. Krusty. Say hi to everybody, Mr. Krusty. You know, in fact, you don't even have to say hello. Mr. Krusty. Let's see here. Yeah, so Kay says, let me see here. I'm going to read what you said. Kay says here, Trump wants to save this country for his children and their children also, which is a beautiful thing. You know what my friends from Canada said? They said they wish they had somebody like Trump. Yeah, because Mark Carney is not doing a good job. Look at Justin Trudeau. And Trump owned those guys, you know. Think they can be able to buck up against the United States, you know, the greatest country on earth. Kay says, I live in a very blue state. Sorry to hear it. So must be careful about wearing anything red on the top of my hat. I do wear my hat occasionally, but I do believe in the Second Amendment and things like that. So I keep my American Express just in case of an emergency, you know. So yeah, so I'm well protected, you know, regards to that. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do, Kay. I definitely understand. But hopefully you'll be moving to, and I'm in the blue state too. But it ain't all blue, because if I go out in like western Michigan, northern Michigan, it's all red there. They rocking with Trump over there. When you start going towards Detroit, Ann Arbor, Kalamazoo, you know, when you start going towards those particular cities and things like that, they are a little bit more liberal blue. But most of the state is red. Michigan is red when you start going in other areas, you know. So yeah. But yeah, hopefully you'll be making plans and arrangements to move out of the blue states, which I'm encouraging MAGA Trump supporters to do. Let them rot in their blue states because they have nothing coming. Trump is already cutting them off from SNAP and a lot of other things because of the corruption, especially in Minneapolis, Minnesota, you know. California is cut off. Colorado and all the rest of them are cut off. Cut them off. Ohio is cut off. You got to cut them off. Starve them out, cut them off, and keep them where they are. Keep them exactly where they are. Because no money mean that you can't cause no trouble. Other than Mr. Krusty, because he's still been funding them. You know, hey, say hi, everybody. Say hi, Mr. Krusty. Yeah, that's Mr. Krusty, y'all. And all his crustiness. Yeah, there we go, Mr. Krusty. Yeah, so yeah, which is AKA Darth Hideous, you know. Yeah, just a true Sith Lord, you know. Yeah, so he's been in the space for a long time, though, you know. And if they only knew the truth, that the person that they hold up so dear is the one that's been causing all the havoc. Hopefully they get over their Trump derangement syndrome. You know, I'm going to have to send Caitlin Bennett. I would love to get Caitlin Bennett on my channel, man. I really would. I'm gonna have to reach out to her, man. I would love to have Caitlin Bennett on here, you know, because she's really been doing her thing, though, you know. Yep, young, pretty girl in her 20s. She's out there single-handedly handling grown folks and baby boomers. She be, if you guys should watch her, it's just hilarious. They get upset because they all fear and confusion, frustration, hatred. These are traits that lead you to the dark side of the force, you know. Look what happened to Mr. Krusty, you know, because it don't make any sense, though. America, we help liberate your behind out them Nazi concentration camps. And this is what we get in return, see? You know? Say hi again, Mr. Krusty. Just don't make any sense. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with. Dark money, you know. They would love to put Trump. See, they want to put Trump. They want to paint Trump in this caricature right here that I'm showing you guys. Yeah, they want to paint him. Trump did a lot of stuff for the Jews, and this guy here funding Hamas, creating this guy here is behind a lot of wicked stuff, man. I'm telling you guys, Mr. Krusty, aka Darth Hideous, you know. Yeah, look at him. I love this cartoon character of Mr. Krusty, you know. Yep. Darth Hideous is not Trump. Darth Hideous, and you guys know this man. Yep. Let's see here. Kay says she is a journalist. Caitlin Bennett. You know what? I have to look in her background, but everybody, you don't have to have special credentials to be a journalist, but she does do her journalism, but she's basically the female version of Charlie Kirk. She does her stuff a little differently because she goes to them and asks them talking about these progressive liberals, and she asks them common sense questions, right, as well as with logic, and she defeats them on that. They get upset. I don't want to talk no more. They get upset because they suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. Beautiful blonde too, that's smart, because Caitlin Bennett is smart, right? You know what I'm saying? She's on the light side of the force. But these old, crusty baby boomers that's standing on the front line, backing and supporting George Soros, aka Mr. Krusty, right? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, you know. Let me see here. Let me go put this one up here too as well. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Caitlin Bennett. You guys should check her out though too. She has great stuff. How you see her interviewing these people. She's out there with her bodyguard, camera and the microphone. And she just be asking the questions though, you know. So why don't you like Trump? I think my next banner I'm going to do is why you don't like Trump. In fact, let's go ahead and do this here real quick before I go. Hold on for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I can change this on the fly. But originally the title was set up as unelected officials control the Dems and Rinos, right? Hold on for a minute. Let me do this here. Why you don't like Trump? That is the question, though. Why don't you like Trump? What's wrong with Trump? Why don't you like Trump? That is the big question. Why do you hate Trump? Why don't you like Trump? That's the question. I'm asking a question, right? Let me see here. We got another person here. Is Cryo. There's a dark vibration orb underneath Washington, D.C. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. A dark orb. Could you elaborate on this dark orb? Uncover the dark orb. Uncover the dark orb. Let me see here. Caitlin Bennett, face of YouTube channel Liberty Hangout. She's a little blonde, right? She has a little microphone. You can see her on a lot of her shorts and stuff. Is Cryo says Trump is dark orb, first and not American first. First and not American first. Oh, I got my first. Why don't you like Trump? So I Cryo. Okay, you don't know about the orb? You're an idiot. I wanna hear it. So let me ask you this though. So tell me the real reason. Instead of the orb stuff and all this other nonsense, let's get down to it. Tell me your real beef with Trump. That's all I want to know. Why don't you like Trump? Let's go with that. Because if you're trying to paint Trump with Mr. Krusty, you're going to lose on that one though, right? But I want to know, did Trump, is he, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I want to know the real truth here. Why don't you like Trump? I'm going to do the Caitlin Bennett on him. But I'm serious though too at the same time. Why don't you like Trump? He said the economy sucks, bro. No, the economy is getting better. Gas prices are going down unless you live in California. Unless you live there, yeah, that was a gas like $7 over there. I'm sorry to hear it. If you over in California, then I'm sorry to hear it. I'm over here in Michigan. I paid what is it, $2.40 some odd cents on my yeah, I paid like $2.40 some odd cents on my gas. And the prices of everything else is going down. The last I checked was like 2% inflation. Look like Jasper says, I love Trump. I do too. Trump been doing a lot of great things for this country though. Hey y'all, hey host. Hey Jasper, how are you, man? Yeah, man. I appreciate you joining on the live, man. It's a beautiful thing. You know, a beautiful thing, man. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I'm your host, Tony Love, coming at you. But yeah, let's look at inflation though. I'm just curious. Inflation. Let's look at it today. Yeah, we're going to take a look at it here. Trump is the answer. Just common sense policies, which won, right? He won the popular vote, 7 swing states, 77 million people that voted for Trump over Kamala Harris, even though they tried to cheat. But, you know, because of his policies and his stance on America first, you know. But he said the economy is bad, bro. I mean, you know, that's what he said, you know. But, is that all you have? You said you think that the economy is bad? Well, we living in the most freest society ever, bro. You know, just look around, bro. You know, you able to own a gun, have freedom of speech, you know, have due process, speedy trial. All the stuff is in the Constitution, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing about it, bro. You got to go ahead and research Trump and his policies, bro. You know, before you start throwing out accusations like that. If you don't know what I know about Mr. Krusty, bro, you lost in the sauce, bro. You know, you need to educate yourself more, bro, before you start throwing insults, bro. Okay, bro. But let me go back to the other comments here. That was fun doing that. Trump erasing America's soft power abroad. He's actually the Monroe Doctrine, if you knew anything. But, you know, idiocracy is real in these leftist progressives. You know, the Monroe Doctrine, you should go and look that up, right? Trump is good at convincing idiots like, well, when we're the majority, you are the minority, you know. You have no power. Your feeble attempt of trying to change the narrative have failed, which makes you a loser, sir, you know. Because if anybody that want to rock progressivism, you know, is failing. Remember, the MAGA patriots have the upper hand. We have the leverage. You do not. And you won't win the midterms either, because we're going to make sure that the left do not gerrymander anymore and try to cheat. This is why the voter poll rolls are being cleaned up, sir. You know, throughout every 50 states. It's already said that they must comply. We have to look at those voter rolls that they've been hiding. California and all the rest of them, right? Yep. So you come in here, your feeble attempt is no power for the light side of the force. I'm a Jedi master, you know, so therefore, yeah, your attempts have failed. And I must admit, the Death Star will be quite operational. We are safe from your puny friends. Oh, man. Ain't that something? Oh, my gosh. Kay says, that's crazy low. I pay about $4 a gallon for, you know what? And like you said, you in the blue state. If you were in Texas, Texas is below $2, I do believe. And I'm paying like $2.30, $2.40 here in Michigan. You know, but yeah, so that's the thing about it. You know, gas should be low. But they're jacking it up in those blue states, especially because we already know why, right? They're being cut off from their money supply. Trump is not carrying them anymore. So guess what? So they're going to have to extract it out of the people, raise the prices. This was the plan, pay taxes and more taxes now, especially in California. You got to get out of these blue states, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, but anybody else, tell me why you don't like Trump. You know, and you got to give a better reason than that. And then talking about the economy and all this other stuff. You get out of these blue states, you'll change that automatic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Kay says the entire West Coast is voter corrupt. They sure are, but that's why we're going to be cleaning up those voter rolls and things too, because we want to make it very, very, very difficult for them to cheat. And they already lost the narrative anyway. You know, they're trying to politicize this Renee Good thing, though. It's not going to go anywhere. You know, it's going to be fizzle out because we're still looking at the corruption over there in Minneapolis and many of these other cities, though, too. So, once again, the Dems have lost again. They have no leader, right? They've been thinking they're fooling the people. They have not. We have the upper hand, you know, even with Mr. Krusty. And then now we have Elon. Who love Elon, you know? Oh, man. Yep, that's something else, boy, I tell you. But yeah, let me go ahead and put that up here, let people see that. Yep, so yeah, this is the thing about it, boy. But yeah, things are better in the red states in certain areas. Yeah, the gas is nowhere near what you guys paying. California is worse. I mean, California is worse. I gotta call them on their true name. With Gavin Knucklehead Newsom over there. Oh my goodness, boy. This is how corrupt. Look at the Palisades over there. Over there, those California fires. I was always wondering why they burning all the time, man. They were over here using accelerators, probably catching that thing on fire on purpose so they can get more funding. Trump ain't going for it no more. You know, he's not going for it. Boy, I tell you, you know. Let me read here. So Kay says the blue states are higher in taxes, pushing stupid electric cars. The entire West Coast, right, is voter corruption. You're right. Kay says, I do think, let me see here. Let me just put it right here. I do think this will lead to a civil war with Americans. That's what they're trying to do, but I don't think it's going to happen. We have Jehovah. Let me see here. Is that Jehovah? Jehovah. Jehovah all over. Jehovah love. Let me see here. He's over here in Iowa. Yep. And he said gas prices are $2.14. Yeah, Iowa. There's people that have moved to Iowa, you know. Yep. That's a red state right there, though. Look at their prices over there. What this other guy talking about? The one that come in here talking about gas and all this. No, sir, not in these red states. Yep, they started on purpose. I'm guessing. Yeah. Yep, you're right about that. Yeah, because I paid like $2.40 some odd cents, which is still going down. The last I checked with inflation, I thought it was like about 2%. And it's going to expect to go down even more than that because Trump is working on getting rid of the Federal Reserve Bank. That is our major hurdle, right? Our major one. Getting rid of IRS, getting rid of these taxes that has been bleeding the people. But I'm still interested to know as to why people don't like Trump when in fact he's been doing more for the people. The first president that has been elected instead of selected, right? We don't have people like Mr. Krusty that can control Trump, and that's why he's so mad. Y'all see Mr. Krusty down there below? Yep. So, of course he hates Trump, right? But we know why Mr. Krusty hates Trump. But I'm interested as to these people that come in here that have Trump derangement syndrome. They can never give you a real reason as to why they hate Trump. They say the economy. And we already know, even when 2016, Trump did a hell of a job bringing it was down to like 1 point something percent. It was down to as low as 1%, I do believe. And it would have been zero if it wasn't for the Federal Reserve Bank. You know, just right there, though. We had way more. And I know the thing about it is that Trump and the Monroe Doctrine, taking on the deep state, destroying their money funding, cutting them off, shutting them off. And this is an actual fact. You know what I'm saying? They want to make it sound like Trump ain't doing nothing. He just looking out for his big time billionaire buddies, you know? Yeah, it was Obamacare, right? Obama. Say the drama for your mama. Obamacare, right? The corruption there, as I already talked about that already. That's common knowledge now. You know? I want to know, Trump, why you don't like Trump? Why don't you like Trump? Because you know what, the people that come in here with Trump derangement syndrome, and I put this MAGA cap on my avatar, which matches my profile as well. I do this on purpose. Because if you have Trump derangement, and some of them come in here with Trump derangement, come in here hot and heavy, and I ask a simple question, just like with Kate and Bennett. Most MAGA people with common sense policies, right, and logic. We can give several reasons as to why we like Trump. But you mean to tell me the progressive left can't give me anything? You should be able to give me something why you don't like Trump. Why don't you like Trump? MAGA, making America great again. As soon as they see me in that MAGA hat, they automatically jump off. I've been banned and blocked on many other channels asking the same question. Why don't you like Trump? Right? I mean, look at everything what Trump been doing. And he's going to get the oil prices together now that we have taken over. And I mean, Venezuelans, for the first time ever, is going to be getting money back into their economy. They're working on running Venezuela until Venezuela have the voting process set up. These are facts. They want to sit up here and say, yeah, Trump, he's made it where these people and took their oil. Boy, I'm going to say, boy, stupidity, I tell you. Stupidity. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, man, I really thank you guys for coming in on the chat this morning. I've been up since, I've been doing this since, what is it, 2:33 to be exact. Man, I've been over, man. This got 2 hours and 33 minutes. I'm gonna have to get myself some shut-eye, man. Can't keep going on and doing this. But I really appreciate y'all coming in today, this morning, early in the morning, hanging out with Tony Love, because I got a lot of love for moderates as well as MAGA supporters. Tony Love here, you know. But you guys are seeing one of the people behind, you know, the conspiracy to bring down and take down America, you know. Mr. Krusty himself, which is Darth Hideous, you know. Darth Hideous, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's him. That's him right here. And if you guys can do me one favor, if you like my content, give me a likes, you know. I'm only rocking with 3 right now, but I'm sure I can get more likes though. But, you know, and don't forget to subscribe too. I think the next one we're going to do that one on aliens, angels and aliens. I think that we'll do that. Yeah, we're going to get down and discover the mystery. You know, we're going to talk about it, the Nephilim, you know. We're going to talk about the book, the book of Enoch. We're going to talk a little bit about it, you know, and try to make sense of it. So I think that'll be the next one to kind of give a little break of this type of stuff, and then we will go back into the Trump. And the question is always the same: why you don't like Trump? Why don't you like him? Yeah, because I'm always curious to know. You can't have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't want you to crash out, but I just want to ask the truth. Why don't you like Trump? Or why you don't? Yeah, why don't you like? Or why wait, I'm trying to say, I'm just early in the morning. Why you don't like Trump? Man, I got to get some sleep. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all for coming in. Kay, you've been rocking it out. You're like the number one, my MVP for comments this morning. And you guys, and whoever else that came in as well, too. It's cryo, you know. I think that's the pronunciation of that. You know, even though you have Trump derangement syndrome, it's okay. It's okay, but if you want to cry about it, you want some McDonald's? Huh? You want some McDonald's, huh? It's cryo. You want some McDonald's? I can give you some McDonald's. You can go out here and get some McDonald's, though. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know, no need to cry no more. It's so cry, or yeah, it's cryo. You don't have to cry no more. It's all good. Wipe your tears. Wipe your tears, though. It's all good. You know, and that's for anyone else, though, too. You know, most of us love Trump. We know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? The war on the cartel, right? Going after the illegal aliens and stuff like that have been destroying our economy and things. There's a lot of things that Trump has been doing, you know. He have waged war on MS-13, right? Antifa, Trende Alagra, you know. Boy, I tell you, man, I don't know where to stop. Kay says, thank you. Appreciate you. Face turquoise. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. Face turquoise music note. Okay. Do you broadcast daily? I do. I try to broadcast. I'm going to actually be broadcasting later on today too, because now that we are here in Sunday, we're Sunday right now. But yeah, I do. And I'm going to try to get I got a morning show and an evening show too that I normally do. So yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I do. So therefore, and you know, you can come here and check me out. You should get my notification though too. If you hit the ring that bell, and therefore when I post, you'll be notified as well too. And for the rest of you, please like and give me some likes here too. That'll help reach me up in the algorithm as well for people that may not ever heard of me. It's some random guy, you know. I'm your host, Tony Love, and I got a lot of love, you know, I sure do. I sure do, you know. But we are going to ask that question, and I appreciate the like too, appreciate it. And anyone else that want to give me a like, you know, Mr. Krusty appreciate that like too, you know. Mr. Krusty, you know. Me and Mr. Krusty would appreciate that like. I'm going to have to start doing a show with me and Krusty. Mr. Krusty, you know. Kay says, okay, showtime. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I think we are going to do something on the aliens and stuff, Roswell, all this other stuff. Yeah, man, that'd be cool, man. I do rock out with that conspiracy stuff too, man. I really do. And for the rest of you guys, if I haven't mentioned everybody, I appreciate you guys being on the podcast show, Some Random Guy, you know, once again. You know, I do post random, and I also going to be more on the schedule once again. You know, got other things going on in my life, but yeah, appreciate you guys coming on here and stuff and hanging out and things though. And I'm trying to think here. I think we covered most of the stuff here. Yeah, most of it. But yeah, Mr. Krusty. Yeah. Oh boy, I tell you, boy. Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue, aka Darth Hideous. Yeah, so once they get over their Trump, before I go, once the people that suffer from TDS, I just encourage drink plenty of water, you know, get some rest, turn the TV off, because a man, which is the president, our greatest president we ever had in our lifetime, should not bother you this much. I didn't go ape when Joe Biden was the president at all. You shouldn't go ape over Trump being the president. Trump is not the source of your problems. You are the source of your problems. Change your thinking, therefore you can change your life. That's a little bit word of wisdom before I sign off to end the live stream, you know. You are in control, not some president, even though he has been helping us a lot, because I see the changes coming around. We defeated woke. We got going to the Constitution, which is another thing, though, too. Boy, I tell you, we are what we're going to be. We are actually a constitutional republic, right? And that's where we're heading, the golden age. Oh, man, I tell you, boy, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing, man. And Trump has really, really been handling his business, man. Getting us together, you know? Yeah, getting us together here. You gotta love it. You really do. You gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. And things. But I'm trying to think. Did I think I covered everything? Mr. Krusty and Eric Kessler, Bill Gates. By the way, with Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, eugenics. I didn't talk enough about that, but I think you guys kind of know that already. And things, he had a lot to do with that event. What's that event? You guys know the events that Bill Gates was behind. You know what I'm saying? It was a major factor behind COVID. Yeah, this guy here, Bill Gates. I have a problem with a guy who wears sweaters all the time, man. You can't trust a man that wears sweaters all the time. What the, you know? So yeah, we can't get into that stuff. Oh boy, I'll tell you. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, though, I appreciate y'all for coming on here. You know what I'm saying? This is a beautiful thing, just kind of making sense out of a system, a world that's starting not to be chaotic as much. I love Trump's stance on going after these PDFs and all the rest of them. And he's been doing an excellent job with that, though, too, man, you know. Because like I said before, we really, really need a warrior, man. We got it so good. Europe, man, Europeans wish they had somebody like a Trump They really do. They really wish they had somebody like Donald J. Trump, the greatest president we ever had in our lifetime, boy. Donald J. Trump, the man, the myth, the legend. Trump, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you've been trumped by Donald Trump, you know. Trump holds all the trump cards, you know. Can't wait to pull that one out. But yeah, the trump cards, ladies and gentlemen, it is Trump. You have been trumped by Donald Trump, for you TDS type people. I ain't never heard of such a thing. You put that much power in the men to have you that control your emotions. And for the men, liberal men, man, before I go, liberal men are some of the worst. They worse than the women. To be a man and be in your feelings, I've seen them black, white, and other come in this room, come in here all hot, emotional males is what they really are, with no daddies that can teach them discipline. You don't allow a man to dictate your emotions and stuff. This is like things coming on in their life. And it's easy to blame people, right? And that's what they want to do. They want to brush and paint this man as being the evil person. He won the vote. He won the popular vote. He won all 7 swing states and the House and the Senate. But many thought that he wasn't going to be able to do it. He did it. He did it. Trump, once again, Donald J. Trump, he has done it, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump, right? That's exactly what ended up happening. Facts. 77 million voters and the electoral college vote as well, too. That was done by Trump, right? He beat Hillary and he beat Kamala Harris. He beat her, too, right? And we're going to take the midterms as well, too, because it's not looking so good for the Dems, though, you know. This attacking ICE officers, being disruptive, ramming cars, and all the rest of this stuff, FAFO. And they are finding out today, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? Because the Patriots are in the driver's seat. We are. We are the ones that's overcoming this stuff. They are not. That's why they get in here. They can't even answer a simple question. We're talking about the economy and all this other kind of stuff. Just weak topics. Biden is the main person. Him and his administration have tried to destroy the economy. We were up 9% inflation. Some of you guys remember that? We were at 9% under Biden. He allowed many illegal aliens into the country, open borders, giving these set-aside programs from taking it from the Americans and giving it to these illegals, voting in our voting process. They've been allowed to do this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This is really, really effed up. I can give you a lot of reasons why I don't like Joe Biden and a lot of other reasons why I don't like liberal progressives. I can give many reasons, right? This is exactly what it is. Yeah, Kay says another topic you should cover in the future is the constitutional republic. I've done it in the past, but I can do it again. In my earlier stuff, I was big on the Constitution Republic, but just a good idea. I'm going to do that, and I have my reference material that I am going to bring up because some of the people may not know the history of America and the Constitution, but I am going to bring that up. You gave me another great talking point topic to talk about, right? And how a constitutional republic is what the founding fathers wanted America to be. You know what I'm saying? For real. Oh, I got another person here. You know, I love anime. That's an anime character. And I'm an artist too. Did you draw that? Let me see here. Eleni wouldn't say I'm an anti-Trump. I'm anti-Republican nowadays. Let's talk about it before I go. So tell me, what's that, Eleni? Yeah, tell me, oh, she's on Twitch too. I got some Twitch people every now and then. So tell me, Eleni, why you are anti-Republican nowadays? Give me the reason why, and we can go ahead and go down through there. Kay says, put some bumper music. I do have it though. I do have some bumper music, and I got all that stuff. It's easier for me to do it on when I was on StreamYard, but StreamYard costs so much. But yeah, I can add some music on here. It's a way I can do it on this particular platform. Yeah. I can definitely do it. Great suggestion. Which I do have some bumper music as well too. I just haven't shout out to all my followers. I appreciate you guys being on the channel. And I'm interested to hear what Eleni has to say. That's good that you're not an anti-Trumper. But is it something? I'm gonna see what she has to say about the Republicans, and I think I know where she's going because she's probably. Are you referencing to the Republicans that are in the Senate and so forth that voted against or voted not to put a block or actually I'm sorry, they voted alongside of what is that, the Obama thing? Because I can understand that. That's definitely a great reason. Eleni says, it's just, hold on, let me just go and post this up here. Hold on for a minute. I got to do this right. Hold on for a minute. It's just they're a bit, they're a bit too careless about our problems. Don't get me wrong. I'm for accountability, everything, but the anti-regulation stuff is a bit too far. I like Trump because he has more centrist. He's represent the normal working man, right? Now, I'm going to explain this here again, and I said this before in a few of my lives, even earlier today before you came on. All Republicans are not the same. We have what we call Rhino Republicans, which means, Republican in name only, right? So with the Republicans in name only, they don't want Trump to succeed. They've been being a politician for a long time. A lot of them never held down a job. They have basically benefited as being a senator with no terms, right? You can be as old and crusty as Mitch McConnell, right? And Thune and all the rest of them, right? Chucky and all the rest of them, Schumer and all the rest of them, and enrich yourself, right? And do nothing. But right now, let's just talk about the rhinos. Like Mitch McConnell and the rest of them, they don't do anything, right? But to try to stop and block Trump. They don't want change. They're not real Republicans. They hijacked the Republican Party. And this is one of the reasons why you're upset, like many of us. I don't look at those clowns. I didn't look at Bush's, John McCain, Dick Cheney when he was alive, and a lot of these other people. They were the problem. They made more and more money off of war. Halliburton and all the rest of them, these military contracts, military industrial contracts and so forth, right? So they also enriched themselves, right? But this is where the rubber meets the road. Now that a lot of these rhinos have been exposed, and this is why in the midterms, Eleni, you have to do your job like we have to do our job and vote these people, primary them out. We got to get as many of these rhinos out of power You know, we got to get them out because they don't, like you said, they don't serve the people. Trump does, and some of the MAGA Republicans do. But this is still a power struggle in the Republican Party because the Rinos and the Bush Jr. and all the rest of them said they want to come back and destroy MAGA. They're not happy with MAGA at all. MAGA is for the people. The Rhino Republicans go along with the progressive Dems. They're one and the same, right? You have to understand this, right? This is exactly what it is. I like the fact that you like Trump, which is a great start. You're not anti-Trump. So we have a lot to work with. And then also, too, we have a lot of crooked judges, right? From the lower judges and so forth. Pelham, 9th District, and all the rest of them. We have a lot of corruption with these judges, these AGs. Thanks to Mr. Krusty, he's the reason, and others, that have put these corrupt judges in power. This is why we have the problem right now. Laney says no one cares if Trump was Mitt Romney. He's doing things to make it easier for the Americans. They don't want that. It ain't about what they want. It's about what the American people already chosen who their champion is, and that's Donald J. Trump. That's all that matters because Trump has the ear of the people, right? We saw that in the past election last year. All these other clowns, they don't really matter. They don't really matter. Hill of beans. Their positions are temporary until we primary them out. There's a list of the rhinos that we already know. See, the thing about it is we know who these people are. We're not wondering who is this and all that because we can vote them out of there. We can primary them out because like you said, because they're not helping, they're not doing what the will of the people, then the mandates that we have given Trump, they're not in lockstep with us. They have been fighting against Trump. They actually voted on the Obama, on that Obamacare stuff. And these are rhinos once again, because we already know they're not going to vote against it. This is where they get their money. You know this. They get their money from who? Obamacare, even Obama himself, $2.5 million a year for doing nothing but set up this whole ruse, this whole BSO Obamacare, Affordable Care Act. And then Dems have shut down the government, and they're going to try to shut the government down again. These people do not care about the American people. The shutdowns is about enriching themselves. And they want the American people to suffer, especially the ones that voted for Trump. You know, so like I said before, Trump is still holding all the leverage. They don't. It's just a matter of time for the American people. This is one of the main reasons that we have to get rid of the filibuster right now, which is highly encouraged. So we can get our people in as far as the judges and so forth. You still got over 80 some odd judges that haven't been sworn in yet. The Dems are holding it up. The rhinos are holding it up because they already know what's coming. Because they know accountability, like you said, is inevitable to happen for these people. A lot of them have been invested in corruption, right? And they know what that means. So they want to try to hold them out, stall them out into the midterms, right? So other than that, you know, I appreciate your comments and stuff like that, because I did always ask the question, though, but this is exactly what it is. You know? See, you don't even have Trump derangement syndrome. I get people coming in here hot and upset, but, you know, you stated the reasons, which I appreciate, but give my my take on it and things. And, yeah, rhinos are going to be rhinos until we primary them. And that's your job, too. Our job is to be lockstep with each other. If you're rocking with Trump, that's perfect. That's cool. You know, we got something that we all have in common. Can't allow Mr. Krusty and all the rest of them to win. We just can't, you know. Lainey says, that's why it's so hard to get a job. I have one, but like so many young people my age that have been putting on thousands of applications, and I feel for you guys too. You know, never trusted the liberal guys. And I feel for you too, though. You know, okay, so you're young. You're younger though. You're probably a millennial. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, a zennial. That's cool. Nothing wrong with it at all. You know, and I know that you guys, right? I'm talking about the young zennials and so forth. I mean, you guys right now, you know, you're in the worst place because Mr. Krusty and people like him have robbed the wealth of the people here in America. You know what I'm saying? And then they're trying to blame Trump because they don't want people to know the truth. Now, you already know the truth, but I'm just saying to have some faith, see what's going on, the jobs. You're going to have to get into tech. I don't know what your profession is, but you may have to consider getting a trade and going back to school. It's just how it is. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, you can basically take root of some of these technical jobs. AI, they're gonna need people that's programming AI. Look at all I'm talking about corporations. We're talking about billion-dollar corporations. $1 million corporations that are coming back here to America, and they're gonna need skilled people. So these are things that you're gonna have to consider doing. Bandsaw, shaping. It says sharpening is what I'm trying to say. If you get rid of the filibuster, the government no longer blah 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 blah. Well, here's the thing about it. It ain't like we can't bring it back. But right now, you don't. Are you in America? Are you in the UK? For me, start off with that first and foremost. Because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news over here in America. They've been blocking Trump. We don't have control of the House and Senate, right? What is it, 48 to 51? We make up a majority by a few seats, right? It's not really a whole lot. This is one of the reasons why they're able to stall, block Trump, even for getting his people certified, right? USA. But yeah, this is what's been going on. We can't even seem to get our people certified. Why you think there hasn't been any arrests? Because we have a lot of corrupt, Supreme Court, I mean, not Supreme Court, but I'm talking about the lower courts, right? Brolsberg and all these people are corrupt as fuck. We can't even get the people that stand with Trump, which is the MAGA Republicans, as judges in the lower court judges. We can't even get them even certified. We're being blocked on every level, along with the along with the Rhino Republicans. So we're getting the same group of people that's playing both sides of the fence. This is why this stuff is so difficult right now, right? So this is why we're advocating we can get rid of that filibuster. Now, if we don't get rid of the filibuster, I believe Trump got some other options on his sleeve. And one of it's an Insurgency Act, or what's the other one? He can do suspend habeas corpus. He got a few options, right? Which would give him access to, you know what I'm saying? Because we need to get our people in there. It's the most importantly. The bad judges have to be impeached out, but we can't get it because our system is too corrupt. We got a corrupt system. However we get it done, we got to get it done. However, we got corrupt judges, corrupt as fuck. The senators can't be impeached any bad judge they want to. But like I said before, you know, there's a lot to do with the midterms, and we got to show up and show out, which I believe, I got faith that we're going to be able to get some of these things done, right? But like I said, we're seeing the enemies of America because these people are on the take. They don't want, they want the corruption. They want the taxes. They want all this stuff to continue. This is the stuff right here. They want this stuff, right? Eleni says, you already know who is blocking this stuff, right? Hakeem Jeffries is one, bought out by yeah, right. Yep, exactly. Yep. And the National Realtors Association, yeah. These are the other donors, super donors, the stuff you're talking about. If you don't know what that is, they basically make housing prices higher than it should be. And this is a thing too. You remember Trump already, what is it? He put a ban on corporations, allowing them, because before corporations were allowed to come in here and buy single family houses, which made the prices go up as well. Trump put a ban stop on that to not allow corporations to buy single family homes anymore. So this is another thing that Trump has been doing. So to be able to bring and make housing more affordable. So this is another thing that he's been doing. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news on that, but you should go and investigate that and look at that, because that's exactly what ended up happening. You know, everybody should have access to be able to own a home. But if you allow corporations to come in here, remember they said with the economical summit, they said you won't have to worry about owning nothing. You know, you're just going to be a slave here in America, and make a long story short, right? So that's exactly what it is, right? He talked. He talked. Nothing is done until Congress pass it, you know. But that's exactly what's going on, though, with Trump, though, you know. So at least we have a president that's basically setting up things in the play, you know. And I believe that we are going to be victorious. Eleni says he's unpopular even on his own side. That's why he's losing. No, he's winning. Yeah, you can't believe, both of you guys, you can't be believing the stuff. I know the liberal media controls the media, but that's the panicking, doom and gloom stuff, man. You know, on my channel, we don't rock with panicking, you know. We are MAGA for real, for real. I'm what is it, ride or die with MAGA and Trump. I'm gonna go right down with it. I am not gonna falter. I am not gonna change. Always bet on Trump, and you're gonna always win. Bet against him. Look at the people that bet against him and they have lost. Look at the history. Hakeem Jeffries, clown, right? It is what it is. Trump is winning on every ground. Hakeem is losing. It is what it is, right? So yeah, so we don't worry about that. You got Mr. Krusty down below. You got people like that that you have more to be worried about than to be worrying about Trump. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. Hakeem Jeffries and Andrew Cuomo, is what I call them, are so bad that the Democrats would rather vote for a socialist like Mondummy. I call him Mondummy, you know. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't rock with them guys anyway, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. And we already know who controls the people that you just talked about, like Hakeem Jeffries, Andrew Cuomo, is Mr. Krusty himself down below. Mr. Krusty. That's why I keep him up here. Say hi, Mr. Krusty. Once again, you know how I do. Mr. Krusty, you got any words that you want to say? Yeah, Mr. Krusty. Yeah, welcome to Mr. Krusty, ladies and gentlemen. But that's exactly what it is. Trump is winning. Mr. Krusty and his group and his crew is losing. Because Trump has the people, right? He has the people no matter what is going on. You say, I'm not a panic, and I'm just telling you that's your, that he is. And see, this is the thing about a bandsaw. Come off of that type of stuff. You trying to insinuate that I'm over here saying that Trump is the king, but look at it. Everybody that went against him have failed, and you know I'm telling the truth, man. This ain't about no kings and all that stuff. That no kings rally stuff is bullshit. All of it is bullshit. I'm giving you the orchestrator who created all this shit in the first place, Mr. Krusty himself. You know what I'm saying? So the problem that you have is from this man here, not Trump. That's why I keep him up here. I'm giving you one of the faces of the problem. And not one time that you have talked about Mr. Krusty. And I find that to be rich. You know, so you ain't telling me shit. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, sir. All this other type of stuff, just knock it off, man. Just knock it off, man. You have Trump derangement syndrome is what you have, sir. Because you haven't, since you've been in here, you haven't articulated anything convincing otherwise. I've been over here speaking for 3 hours talking about Mr. Krusty and all his other goons, and you can't even comment on that. I find that to be very rich. That means how little that you know, right? And more that you don't know. Watch the beginning of the live stream when I kind of go in regards to these agencies and these other type of things and BLM and all the rest of them, though. You know, oh man, get out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here, man. You don't know what you're talking about. This is all crap. But I say this though, he is going to stop the credit cards at 10%, which he should. That's what I'm saying though, man. All the stuff that Trump doing right now is for the people, man. Stop panicking, man. Get your head out your butt. And I have to do this though. Sorry, but it is what it is. Eleni says George Soros, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, all these lizard people. And that's what I want to hear Bandsaw talk about. We got to get down to the cause. The problem is not Trump. The problem is what she said. And I'm going to say this, Laney, you know a whole lot. For you to be able to bring up Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, and I haven't even gone in all of them, but yeah, you're right. They are the problem. Those are the tyrants that's trying to get rid of Trump, as she said. These are the tyrants. So you need to be talking about the problem, people. The solution is the American people voting in these midterms and getting rid of these unelected billionaires. Elon Musk is just one only good billionaire. And he still got more money than they do put together. You know what I'm saying? Shit, we on the winning side of history, not on the losing side. Get off that panicking stuff. Get out of that Trump derangement stuff and start backing a winner. That's what we have to do, right? Ain't got time for all that. So let me go ahead and shut this down, guys. I've been up way too long. I appreciate you coming on. We can have a difference of opinion. That's cool. But we can't be on this panicking stuff. We got enough problems as it is, man. And like you said, Delaney, the people that you just named are part of the problem. At least we are voting for the solution. That's just how it is. That's exactly what it is. Yep, this is the problem right here. Now, this isn't about voting these guys. And these guys have been exposed. These guys have been exposed. And whatever the plan is to go after these guys, because these guys have all been funded. I think, what's that organization? I talked about it earlier. The Arthur Bellum, which they shut that down. It's a Sunflower service now. Go and Google this stuff up. They still have these think tanks, right, that they put together to be a disruptor, to stop and to destroy, right? This is what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Trump has been winning, like Eleni is saying. I don't know. I mean, I don't watch liberal news. I get my sources from real stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know when I hear conversations and talk, I can always tell where they're getting this information from. I can always tell. Okay, let's see here. Taking off the ride. Can I hear up front sound? Oh yeah, I know who that is. Okay, yep. Yeah, I know who that is. It's one of my text messages here from somebody I know. Okay, no problem. Okay, maybe just read the rest of these. I'm not an anti-rich person, but I'm anti-rich using their money to influence politics. I had my title earlier. These unelected officials who control politicians, they're behind these so-called social justice programs. You see the cartoon down here, defund the police, BLM. There's a whole list of this type of stuff, right? There's a whole list. In fact, do I need to go over this again before I go? I didn't went over this earlier. Do I need to go over this again to know who these people and what they've been up to, what they've been doing? Do I need to go over this again real quick? Because I already had a picture earlier. If you go into there's an octopus with Soros' head on it, and the other people that are involved in this. Bill Gates too, open society activists, corrupt district attorneys, colleges and universities, right? Educational system. What is it? Antifa rioters, BLM, American Democrats, right? Election fraud, the World Economical Forum, the WHO, right? The voting machines, porn, Ukraine, Justin Trudeau, CDC, the trafficking. You know what else goes with it that starts with a C? The color revolution, and the entertainment industry, the EU. There's a whole list of things that these particular people have been involved with it. Propaganda, right? Controlling of the news as well, and all the rest of these things. To what? To bring America down. They've been controlling our politicians, right? These are the money masters behind it all. Behind the great curtain is the so-called Great Oz. We already see who's the person that's perpetrating, that's doing this stuff, though, The curtains have been revealed. We know who these people are. We know them by name. Let me see here. Let me get caught up here on the thing. So I got to shut this down too, man, as I've been over here over 3 hours. Laney says, I'm not. Okay, I read that one. Trump is winning because his support is real. Trump has grassroots support. The liberals don't. That's true. Trump also, to add on to what you said, Elaney, Trump actually has the ear of the people. He has the people with him. The liberals do not. Elaney says, it's all paid for. Yeah, I've been said that. It's all paid for because they're filthy protesters. They are not even real protesters. They're being paid by Soros. We already know this, though. Blue Sky, Act Blue, and things like this. They're being paid by these organizations, though. The Open Society as well. And no one is immune from propaganda entirely, right? It's true. If you don't think you can be influenced one of these movements, that's how they get them. Yeah, because they play on their sympathy and things, or whatever the case may be, right? Look for a weakness, right? Just like with Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. They use these people, right? These are their foot soldiers, right? Now that they've been exposed, and I used to be a fan of Candace until she turned against Trump. One of these things I would get you if you're not paying attention, right? I know a lot of right-wingers support Israel. But here's the thing about it, though. I know the history of Israel. I'm not saying Israel is perfect. There's some powerful people over there in Israel. Everything she's saying is in regards to all of it is a lie. But first thing is first, though, we have to get America together first, because this is a hunt after the deep state all over, shutting down their organizations left and right. But I'm in agreement with you, though, I'm not one of these type of persons that I consider myself an actual right winger, because I never align myself, or I never give a total devotion of a particular party. It's the person. If the policies that I like with Trump, I align here. But looking at the left, I haven't really seen any great policies either. I'm going to be honest with you, Elaney. I never voted, and the first person I ever voted for was Trump. I didn't vote for other people because on both sides we were being played. I knew that then. What made it change with me when I started seeing Trump's policies and what he's been doing. So I've never been married to a particular party. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Bandsaw says George Soros owns the IRS. Owes the IRS $6 billion in back taxes. He can't be arrested anytime. Nobody has got him in 10 years. Well, here's the thing about it. Remember I was mentioning before about all of the social programs that he's been funding and these terrorist organizations, this is where they're going to get them, because they've been following the money, and they are very aware of these think tanks and these other organizations that George Soros has been doing, that he's been involved with. And all you got to do is just watch the money and see where it goes and see where it's being funded. Now that Antifa has been classified as a terrorist organization, and if you're putting money in a terrorist organization, that makes you, they can come after you on that, RICO laws and everything else. And I do believe that he's on borrowed time. Laney says, I'm not saying that the country is evil. I'm just saying it's kind of weird. Both parties support Israel. Yeah, for the most part of it. But here's the thing about it. We know with Israel, there's some problems over there. You have a lot of undesirable people that reside in Israel, right? But it's one of these slippery slope things, though. But I believe that in the outcome, we're gonna make out good overall, though. It's just a matter of time, and things like that. What has Helen got to say? Trump has the ear of the pedos and pedo protect pedos, But Helen, here's the thing about it, though, too. See, these are liberal talking points. I done heard this so many times, and you still haven't produced any type of facts. You have no really solid information. You're just throwing out accusations, which makes it not credible. Laney says George Soros is weird, right? He thinks that the communists won't get him. He's going to be one of the first, right, to get got. I believe that. All you got to do is follow the money. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. They're already doing investigation. They've been going in, watching these organizations. Trump is in team, or Trump and Patriots are well aware where his dark money organizations that have been revealed. I talked about a lot of them right now, right? This is why you got people like Helen that believe with this Epstein stuff and Trump, because they controlled it. Unfortunately, they still control the media. So, like you said, Laney, they can get you with how propaganda works. They can get these people, and that's exactly what it is. This is what's going on right now. These people, anything they look at, because you got people that hate Trump because he's a billionaire, straight off the bat. And they associate all billionaires the same, just like they did with Elon Musk. Anybody that's a billionaire is considered to be evil, bad, and so forth. And that's what people believe. It's propaganda. He has to know communists go for the billionaires first. Yeah, exactly. It's a billionaire class. But many people don't understand what communism is, nor do they understand what fascism is. Not really. People that understand it better, some of these people in these Latin American countries, these other countries that's undeveloped, they have a better understanding of what communism truly is. America's seeing glimpses of it, but none of us lived in a communist country for real, for real. Only these other people have. That's why the Venezuelans were celebrating Moderno and stuff when he got captured. Johnny says Dems are beta males and crazy Karens. Yeah, you are right. Yep, I get them come in the room here time after time. I've been dealing with them since last year. Johnny says betas are devious. Do you think it's because they have to sneak, cheat, and steal because they weak? Yeah, exactly. Weak men have to do these type of things. Weak men are easily to be manipulated, especially by women, to try to score favor. We call them simps too. Incels and simps and feminine men, right? Weak men. Absolutely. That's exactly correct. And I'm going to say, Eleni says, America lets you criticize the government all the time. America is not fascist. I mean, it got closed under Biden. Exactly correct. You are very, very knowledgeable in regards to this. Exactly. That is correct. Because they don't know what fascism really is, though. They just be talking, though. But you're absolutely correct. Because that happened under Biden. Biden actually, what is it? He said that you couldn't criticize COVID. You couldn't say, you only had to say the jab. They weaponized the tech industries as well, right? They actually put they went against our First Amendment rights as well, right? They tried to go after guns, but they did a censorship thing, right? The social distancing and all this stuff. They infringe and put mandates over our amendment rights and stuff like this. This all happened under Joe Biden. But you're absolutely correct. This is exactly what ended up happening. It's funny that they talk about what Trump did. You know what I'm saying? But the evidence, by looking at history, it's what Biden and his group of people did against the will of the American people. This is absolutely factually correct and true. This is exactly what it is. All right, love you too. Yeah, this is actually factually true. This is exactly what ended up happening. This is why we are in a situation and things like this. These people don't understand what fascism truly means. They never lived under a fascist regime anyway, as you pointed out, Eleni. They don't have no idea whatsoever. They can't give me a real concrete evidence. They always want to bring up this Epstein stuff or whatever like that, you know. Trump, I mean, it's already came out before that he was an informant. Trump is the one that brought Epstein down. This is why Epstein was another backer of the Democratic Party. Every Democrat that was financed by Epstein, right? Facts. This is exactly what it is, ladies and gentlemen. They have been financed by Epstein. Yep. This is exactly what it is. On the left, Eleni says, yeah, a lot of these Dems were talking about killing us for not getting it exactly. And this is the sick derangement mindset that a lot of these liberal progressives, right, that have been fooled by this Mr. Krusty right here. That's why I keep Mr. Krusty up, because I want them to look at one of the faces of evil. And there's many of them. We mentioned about Jeff Bezos, right? We talked about Zuckerberg. We talked about many others. Bill Gates, I put him up. Eric Kessler. We put all these people up. You know, the Arabellum Corporation, which is now the Sunflower, the Sunflower Service now is what they go under. But they still, because that other group, I had to abolish that group. They had to get rid of it because it got found out. They got exposed. And they're still exposing. Every time they pop up with another think tank group, guess who's already on it, you know? So we follow the money. We understand who their backers are. And now that we understand what's going on, we're looking at the bigger picture, you know? And Trump has been getting rid of all Obama's things that Obama has been setting up. And he's been, who's behind Obama? Mr. Krusty himself right here. Mr. Krusty. He tells politicians what to do. Politicians don't tell him what to do. A lot of these people have already been bought and compromised. So, yeah, we already know there's a lot of politicians on Epstein Island too. There was a lot of them on that island though too. So, of heaven forbids they want this stuff to come out straight like that. Laney says, and none of these people made anything. They just borrow and bought stocks and used stocks as collateral to take out more loans and repeat. Elon Musk actually makes shit, right? Zuckerberg stole Facebook. We all know that. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. This is exactly what has been going on. In fact, I'm going to put that up there, but you're absolutely correct. This is where we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Krusty down below. This is exactly, he's one of the problems, right? He's been meddling. This is a non-elected person telling elected people that many of you voted for. And he's controlling them. He controls your organizations. Some of you belong to, some of you big up ADL and all the rest of them. Guess who's controlling them? They controlling this stuff, you know? But here's the thing about it, though. I'm going to deal with Gary, though. Hey, Gary, I'm going to give you one opportunity. I'm going to give you one opportunity to tell me why you don't like Trump. And see, it's niggas like you. I can tell already you coming in here hot. You ain't even say hello and hi. But it's niggas like you that have been brainwashed by the leftist progressive. You don't know nothing though, you know? Even if I dropped the link down, you would be a coward. You want to come up here and debate me. I bet you that. So you may as well pipe down right now and coming in my room all hot and being disrespectful and things like that. You can agree to disagree, but battle me intellectually. Let's have a debate for real, instead of coming in here using insult names and stuff. And that's what I say to you, to a lot of people. These old beta male simps, these old emotional males, and especially in the black community, this is what the left have produced. This type of garbage right here. Let me go and post this real quick. This is the trash. This is the remnants of the trash that the left-leaning groups like Mr. Krusty down below have produced. You know what I'm saying? The AWACP and all the rest of them. No, this is where this crap is coming from, right? Lady says, like, what has George Soros made? Right? What you mean by what he made? You mean what he did? You talking about what he did, or what you said what he made? What you mean, money-wise, or what he did? Bandsaw says the difference between a financial capitalism produces nothing, and industry capitalism make things and understand how products are made. That's correct. Lady says, I invented no companies to benefit society. He's just rich. Yeah, exactly. He's rich. You know, with Soros, with his money, I forgot what he made his money off of. Soros, I'm trying to think of what he made his money off of. But as I mentioned earlier, he's a Holocaust survivor, first and foremost. He's from Hungary. He's Hungarian and originally from Hungary, right? And since he was over there, he ended up being in the concentration camp and things like that, he survived, and his family members as well too. It took the United States and Russia. If it wasn't for us, ain't no telling he wouldn't be here right now. I just find it very strange what his beef is against America, which in fact America and Russia was the ones that helped save this behind in the first place. A lady says, I like Republicans for lowering taxes, but it should be across the board. We should tax people like Soros 90% or whatever. And that's what I love about Trump, though, Elaine, because Trump is the one that's getting rid of the taxes, but he has a battle to deal with the deep state, which is Federal Reserve, right? Once we can get the Federal Reserve out of there, right? That's the thing about it. You know, the Federal Reserve is the major problem. But hey, guys, I got to get going, man. I got to go and lay down, man. I've been up way too long and things, but I'm glad you guys have found my channel. Please give me the likes, though, too. I appreciate it. You guys have been great. I'm going to read a couple more of these comments, and then I'm out of here. Eleni says, I read that. Okay, Bandsaw says, Soros short the, yeah, that's right, he did. He short the Bank of England back in the 1980s and won, and he broke England. Correct. You're absolutely right. That's what I meant being reading about George Soros. You're absolutely correct. Eleni, if you are using money to hurt people, you should definitely get taxed. Not only hurt people, but he's been the main contributor behind a lot of things, though, too. Soros worked for the Nazis. He's no survivor. Exactly. I think I remember reading that, too. But the propaganda says that he was a Nazi. I mean, he was a Jewish survivor in the Holocaust and all this other stuff. I haven't did enough research on that, but that's what they're saying on the surface. I appreciate that, Bandsaw, you know. Let me see here. Eleni says, I like Soros probably funded the guy who killed Charlie. I'm sure, though. And a lot of other people, too. Bandsaw says, I know, I am. Okay, that's great, Bandsaw. I mean, I'm sorry to hear about that. If you are, or family members as Holocaust survivors and stuff like that, because I know that's what George Soros was claiming that he was. I didn't know how true that was, but yeah, I remember reading some things about this guy, man. I just call him Mr. Krusty, you know. But yeah, I got to go ahead on and shut it down, guys. You guys have been great coming in on the chat here, just talking about because I had a title change to something earlier, and things like that. Unelected officials that control the Dems as well as the Rinos and stuff like that. Yep. All right. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, though, too. Because I welcome you back, Eleni. You're very knowledgeable. You and Bandsaw, you guys are knowledgeable, man. And I don't mean no offense when I get a little passionate about it. I don't mean offense to anybody or anyone, though, you know. But other than that, though, you guys have been great. You guys held down the show. Kay as well, that was on, and things like that. I like your avatar, too, because I'm a big anime fan. But, yeah, I like your avatar. You guys have been great, very knowledgeable as well. But, yeah, you're absolutely right about that, about Soros, because I kind of forgot that he did short the Bank of England, just like Rothschild. Yeah, he did, you know, with Rothschild. You already know what he did and things like that. So, yeah, but you guys have been great. Let me go ahead on and shut this down. And for everyone else, though, if you don't mind giving me some likes as well to be able to reach up in the algorithm and to allow other people, you know, to be able to see my content and things like that. And you guys are all welcome. Once again, I appreciate you all coming on Some Random Guy Speaks. I'm your host, Tony Love, once again, because I got a lot of love and things for most, not all, but for most, you know, especially if you love America, definitely. Okay, guys, you have a wonderful day. See you guys later on today, or what I'm going to do the evening show. And things like that. Where's my applause at, man? Because y'all all did your thing. I appreciate you guys there too, man. Thank you guys for being part of something great. And then also you get the horns as well too. You know, so Bandsaw, Eleni, you know, we got Kay in the house. There's some others in the house, and I appreciate you guys though. And hopefully I'll see you guys again. I want to see you guys again. All right, you guys take care. Peace and love, or peace and chicken grease. I'm out.